contestant can be seen touching a laser, this should mean losing the challenge. Now, the next section is illegal lotteries, which in my opinion is the most egregious thing. MrBeast faking his videos, you can care about that if you want. For the most part, I don't care. Rigging challenges, I think, could be very unethical, but the idea that he fake videos in general, that in and of itself doesn't really matter to me. But illegal lotteries definitely matters. And same with child gambling if that happened, which there's some, interesting, compelling stuff here. A lottery is any scheme that contains all three of the following elements and is by definition illegal. 1, distribution of a prize, something of value to the winner. 2, determined by chance, distribution of the prize by chance, random drawing, etc. 3, to a person who pays consideration, paying or doing something more than de minimis to participate. And if you look up de minimis and what that means, it basically just means like pertaining to minimal things, right? Minimal contribution, right? So it's like you're paying something or you're doing something. That's how you enter a lottery. And then we have an article from USPIS.gov titled "A Consumer's Guide to Sweepstakes and Lotteries, U.S. Postal Service Inspection." So there he defines what a lottery is. And that's all here, so we can set up the live stream section. Here we have a screenshot of that live stream of MrBeast signing shirts, and it says live stream 1, 40 million shirt signing, August 4th, 2020. If you buy this shirt, I'll sign it, parentheses, taken down. And it shows a spreadsheet of the various prizes that were given, as well as the total profit. Then we have live stream 2 links, which says shirt signing, and this is from October of 2020. If you buy this shirt, you could win $1 million, which is apparently a lost piece of media from the MrBeast channel. Then we have a bunch of Reddit threads of people questioning this stuff from a while ago. This one is titled, "Is the event MrBeast is hosting right now an illegal lottery?" And this is from Legal Advice Off Topic from 4 years ago. Then we have another Reddit post links titled, "Where are the terms of this live stream contest and sweepstakes?" Then we have another post on r/patent law titled, "Illegal sweepstakes? MrBeast YouTube channel claiming a prize is necessary to enter sweepstakes for clearly presented gambling prizes." So clearly he's showing here that people were actually talking about this idea of illegal lotteries way before his video came out, even 4 years ago. Just nobody had picked up on it. Nobody had discussed it. And ultimately, Dogpack had to be the sort of whistleblower to bring it to light, to go into all the financials and go into the process of it and make it credible, right? I think it's really interesting to note here how none of this stuff would have ever been discussed if Chris Tyson had just not been on the team. Like, Chris Tyson being on the team is the snowball that caused all this stuff to come out. And if it was discussed, I think it would have been a much slower trickle of information, and I don't think that people really would have cared as much as they do now. The Chris Tyson thing, when a child is involved, people get really mad, obviously, and that's really what snowballed this entire thing. But previous to this, it seemed like there was no real criticism given to MrBeast at any high level on YouTube. Now here we have a screenshot of the video that Dogpack mentioned in his video, titled Livestream 3, JPEG Moon. I'll put whatever you want on the moon for $10, which is captioned as lost media here in this document. And then we have an article here titled Astrobotics Peregrine Lunar Lander Burns Over Pacific Ocean, CNN. Basically showing that this rocket met its very theory end. Here we have a screenshot of another MrBeast live stream titled Sending Viewers Personalized Messages. And here, Dogpack writes, "There was no illegal lotteries during the stream, but it was still a scam in my opinion. For $180, MrBeast will congratulate you on your divorce." I didn't even know that this stream happened, and probably the reason why is because according to Dogpack, the stream ended after 15 minutes and the website was taken down. But we do have an archive here of the website showing that MrBeast did in fact seem to launch this at one point in time, but quickly realized maybe it wasn't going to work out based on the fact he ended it after 15 minutes. And that's why the website was removed. Here we have another screenshot of a live stream titled "Buy this shirt to be in a video." And here we have another one that says Livestream 6 titled Opening 1,000 Packages. And here, Dogpack writes, "Other illegal sweepstakes. Instagram, also possibly every YouTube sweepstakes." So he's basically positing here that maybe every single live stream he's done could be an illegal lottery. And this is a post from May 8th of 2023 that got 1,000 likes, so really not that much interaction at the time. But it's titled, "This is how MrBeast giveaway appears to violate Instagram's TOS and might violate state law." A quick thread. First, Instagram's terms of service. Instagram requires that you include a complete release of Instagram by each entrant and acknowledgement that the promotion is in no way associated with Instagram. MrBeast post does not include such a release or acknowledgement. Violating Instagram's terms of service is grounds for account termination. It's unlikely that will happen to MrBeast for this reason, but why put your account in jeopardy? Next, California, like several other states, requires that you create official rules and prominently identify them in all promotional materials. MrBeast post does not reference, let alone prominently identify any official rules. Under California law, these official rules must list, among other things, the name of the giveaway operator, any eligibility requirements, an all-cap statement that no purchase is necessary, methods of entry, and any limits on number of entries. MrBeast post includes none of this. Violating California's promotion law is a misdemeanor that subjects violators to imprisonment of up to 6 months and monetary penalties. So I guess it's possible MrBeast will do a little stint in jail. Maybe he'll get some cool tattoos and shave his head and become based. States also require that you include abbreviated rules and in each post advertising the giveaway. Florida requires every post to include the name of the operator, the start and end dates, eligibility requirements, disclosure of where it's void, and a no purchase necessary statement. You might have noticed that Mr. Beast commented excluding the state of New York. He likely did that because New York law requires registration and bonding in advance of any giveaway that promotes consumer products and where the prize value exceeds $5,000. But Florida has a similar bonding and registration requirement, and he doesn't purport to exclude Florida from eligibility. Florida's law applies to any sweepstakes in which Florida residents may participate, and Florida is one of the most active states in enforcing sweepstakes laws. The bottom line, it's not especially complicated to comply with sweepstakes laws, but it is important to know the rules and the risks. Think through the issues and plan your giveaway for success so you can avoid any potential liability while you grow your brand. And I decided to go through the thread here, and one of the response here from this Geo Films guy says, "You snitch, shut the fuck up." This other guy named Leham Lowell says, "Bro, you're just mad you're not going to win, and it's okay. I get it. I probably won't win either." Next, we have a section titled Selling Fake Autographs. Anyone else notice that Tyler signed MB along with his own initials? And this is a post from the Mr. Beast subreddit from 4 years ago, where in the video that does seem to be the case. This body language needs to be studied, and we have a screenshot here of this guy looking kind of mischievous, okay, looking kind of like, ooh, what'd I just do?
Kind of a light-skinned stare, if you will.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
A former Mr. Beast employee DM'd me this. Oh, about the signatures for the shirts. They said, "We literally can't get sued over this because Mr. Beast is the company, not just Jimmy." They had 4 tables set up with Chris at the time. Chandler, Tyler, Jackson, sometimes Jimmy and Carl, signing shirts for hours. And then he says, "I verified their former employment status." So this would seem to indicate that if this person's telling the truth and Dogpack's telling the truth and he verified them, that this is more confirmation about, Mr. Beast was not the one really signing these shirts. It was a lot of other people. Now we have a section titled Feastables, the Diabetes Lottery. And we have screenshots from Twitter as well as a screenshot from what looks like Mr. Beast's website for Feastables, basically stating that he wants people to go and clean up the aisles of local Walmarts and stuff like that to make sure that the Mr. Beast bars look nice on display there, right? This was like such a big trend back in the day, I remember. I don't know people in real life who did it, but I remember seeing a ton of videos online like, "Mommy, I want to clean up Mr. Beast's shelf at Walmart."
Destroy the child.
And then we have a food theory video titled, "Is Mr. Beast Chocolate Illegal?" And another video titled, "What Mr. Beast Isn't Telling You About Feastables." And then another video from these people who apparently won a golden ticket, the Dogpack cited as probably being, given a higher chance of winning, so to speak, than the average person because they are YouTubers. What are the chances, okay? Incredibles guy, the teacher. Coincidence? I think not! Chocolate Factory video. This is the video where random Feastables golden ticket winners competed for a chocolate factory. The issue is that 2 of the contestants appear to not be random. Dallin Lambert of Della Vlogs and Justin, who is Ava Chris Tyson's cousin and operates a local bus charter service that Jimmy often uses to transport contestants. And we can see a picture of the LinkedIn there with looks like Gordon Ramsay on screen in the Mr. Beast video with Carl Jacobs as well and this guy Justin. And then we have a screenshot here that says, "If you're running a sweepstake, you absolutely must choose your winner randomly. Additionally, these people are ineligible to enter. Your family, anyone who lives at your address, any of your employees or contractors, your sponsor, and your sponsor's employees or contractors." And here, Dogpack seems to be showing that they did violate that by showing somebody that was indeed a contractor, was personally family of Chris Tyson, and had, supplied the bus services through a contract agreement to Mr. Beast to help him for transportation. So that would be a violation of this law. Now we have a section titled Mr. Beast Philanthropy. I'll get into more detail on why Beast Philanthropy is not nearly as good as it seems in future parts, but here are some other good videos and articles on it. Real charity experts debate the ethics and effectiveness of spectacle charity work. It's not as simple as charity equals good. And here we have a ton of videos linked about this from YouTube. Mr. Beast, Capitalism and Philanthropy. Oh brother, this guy stinks! How Mr. Beast uses charity to manipulate his fans. The dark side of charity YouTubers. Mr. Beast and Mark Rober
is too far away to receive
this
your quest.
philanthropist is a fraud. Crypto,
This
corruption,
is too far away to receive your quest.
Let's talk about performative charity. The dark secret behind those Omaze giveaways, how money works. And then we have a bunch of other stuff linked here, like an article from Fast Company titled, "Mr. Beast took money from a Coke-linked organization for a YouTube video." And when they say Coke here, they mean the Koch family, which is a very big American kind of like oligarchy business family, Rockefeller type thing. They don't mean like, the brand of Coke. Coca-Cola
Yeah, but they
never
all
do
do
me
this.
wrong, ever. Do not say anything mean, ever, about Mr. Coke. And then we have an article here titled, "FaZe Clan, Jeffree Star, and Mr. Beast received coronavirus relief loans. The loans were designated for small businesses, so they're basically claiming here that Mr. Beast is not running a small business. Therefore, he shouldn't get that loan." Then we have an article from Girls Shave Hobbies. Oh my god.
Are you dyslexic?
Caucasian.
titled
Status
Mr.
says,
Beast
I am
Boys
54.
Club, Jamie Donaldson's record of controversy, exploitation, and shady business. Finally, Dogpack links the search results for expert on Mr. Beast's spectacle charity, and then also a Reddit post titled
Status
Me and a
says,
bunch of
15
people
fine
got
Bengals,
screwed
2039,
over by big
zero lock
YouTuber
motor,
Mr.
zero.
Beast, and I
15
don't know
in
what
defense
to
of the
do.
King's
But the
lands,
post got removed
237,
by the
15
moderators of
resupplying the
r/advice.
excavation,
I'm not really
273.
sure why. Here we have a section titled Trashing
Suburb
Film
is too far
Sets.
away to
Top
receive your
YouTuber
quest.
celebrates 100 millionth subscriber. Trashes
subzone is
remote
too far away to
Bahamas
receive your
Island. This is
quest.
an article by Loose Cannon, seemingly showing that there was some trash left there for the 100
15
million
fine Bengals,
subscriber special.
2039,
And then we have a
zero lock
Reddit
modem,
post titled
zero.
Mr. Beast leaving behind trash and debris at film site in Aden, North
Status
Carolina.
says,
I live
sorry,
around
expedition
Mr.
to
Beast's
death.
area and have been hearing lots about him leaving trash and debris behind at his previous
Separate source
filming
says,
location.
you're on an earlier
I know
part of the
someone
chain.
very closely who works at the camp where he filmed a few of his last videos that featured destruction and some explosions. Apparently, he left a large boat in the pond as well as debris around the film
Subsequent
site and the
season,
bottom of the
Wolf Box
pond
2.
weeks around
Static
as
says,
well as
oh, I am
debris
sorry.
around the film site and the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks
Static
after
says,
the agreed
GL.
time frame. This actually rendered it unsafe for campers and almost delayed the camp's opening
You leave
date
the group.
multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with Mr. Beast to get the stuff cleaned up out of the area. Eventually, the boat and most of the debris was moved. Eventually, the boat and most of the debris was removed after constantly asking him when and if he would come out to clean it up. There are still tons of items that can be found at the bottom of the pond if you dive. This has kind of left a bad taste in my mouth as the camp is a Christian organization and asks for no money or publicity, and also aren't the type to say anything negative about the experience publicly. I know personally that this caused lots of stress on staff leaders and the owners of the camp, and was mostly a negative experience for them. I guess I'm just curious if anyone else has heard about this or knows about this or knows he has a history of doing this kind of thing. Just seems very unprofessional for someone at this level and with his image.
Separate source says,
Protect the
last call
yacht,
17 in
keep it
defense
is
of
the
the King's
video
lands,
title. And
217.
Dogpack writes, I was on this film set on March 26, 2024, so I was able to confirm that the details in this Reddit post regarding the location and video were accurate. I reached out to the camp's executive director for comments, and here we have a response. He censored the camp name, but this is what they apparently said. Hey James, thank you for reaching out to me as executive director of whatever. We have been hard at work navigating our busy summer camp season. The cast and crew we hosted in March put on quite a big production, and I was able to meet some great folks from across the country who specialize in special effects and explosives. I learned a whole lot from them. First, they were very professional, they took their job seriously, and safety was always the first priority. They were subcontractors of the production crew, and they made sure everyone was safe and well informed. Working with the producers was a blessing. They communicated frequently and even texted me before explosions were going to happen. They also made sure we were able to live out our mission as a Christian camp while they were there. I'm sure there are no perfect film coordinators, just a matter of people, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had to host the production crew, and because Grace offered me so freely, I'll choose to offer the same. Thanks for reaching out. We're focusing on finishing out a great summer camp season and are not interested in discussing this any further. So it seems here this individual was not very upset at whatever happened. If it was trashed, it didn't really bother them. The evidence for it being trashed is ultimately, I mean, this one Reddit post, and then that seems to be it. This camp person doesn't seem to really care, so yeah, hard to say there.
Aggro.
The camp director makes comment to the
What the hell?
subcontractors' professionalism and safety protocols, but
What?
notably does not deny that Mr. Beast left trash at the film site. That is true. Even going on to say that he's offering grace, forgiveness to the production crew responsible. That's true. I guess what I'm saying here is more that, like, they don't seem to care, really. I guess it does paint a greater picture here about leaving trash behind, but the people who own this camp don't seem to give a fuck. I've heard numerous stories like this. I might go in depth in the future. And he gets into, crypto scams. I don't think this made it into any of his videos at all. Here we have a picture from, looks like the Binance website, probably. It says, invested by Mr. Beast and Binance in whatever this is, coinunited.io. And it shows what looks like the history of the coin, which is that it went down quite a bit in value during a certain amount of time. And then we have XCAD Network that says, we're proud to announce KSI and Mr. Beast have invested into XCAD. They're the biggest YouTubers in the UK and US respectively. Adoption is coming. Are you ready? We have a post here from Gfinity
Your auction of small eggs
Esports
sold.
that says Mr. Beast fans believe he's misled them into a refinable crypto scam. So we'll go through this, because why not? Mr. Beast backed Refinable, a cryptocurrency that has cost his backers so much money that he's accused of misleading his fan base. Mr. Beast didn't just mention it casually, he allowed his image to be used for marketing this cryptocurrency. Since being released on the 27th, the currency has fallen by $6. Cryptocurrencies are only as valuable as they're perceived to be, and if they're not widely used or their creators are selling them, they will rapidly decline in value. The opposite is also true. The value of Dogecoin.
Oh, ouch. Oh, you
Elon
son of a
Musk
bitch.
endorsed.
No.
In this case, Mr. Beast's name was not enough to keep the currency growing. I won't debate whether cryptocurrencies are good or not. That is neither here nor there. The issue is with this particular crypto and how rapidly it's falling. Refinable was planned to launch at 33 cents, but the high end cost is to launch at $8.35, and at the time of writing, it is at $2.01. Several people think Mr. Beast and the founders of Refinable were setting up a pump and dump scheme. That means behind the scenes trying to raise the price of a crypto before the launch artificially, and then sell when the token becomes at its most valuable. Mr. Beast is in an unusual position to support a currency that declines so swiftly. In addition to all of that, many people could not sell their crypto, claiming they lost thousands or even their life savings. This is a lousy position for anyone to be in. There has yet to be any reaction from Mr. Beast to the backlash, but he must come up with a good response for everyone involved. And then we have an article about the XCAD network thing.
I don't know how he hit it.
Cointelegraph,
Fuck was
the Future
that?
of Money website. Then we have an article from Jacob Wolf titled "Why the Mr. Beast Endorsed Creator League Fell Apart in Less Than 72 Hours." And finally, we have a Reddit post titled "Mr. Beast is Getting Some Backlash at Using Crypto NFTs for Team Seas." And we have a bunch of people talking about how it's cringe basically on Twitter and criticizing him, saying, "Why are you using crypto if you defend the environment because crypto is bad for the environment?" That kind of thing. Then we have a video titled "Mr. Beast's Influential Call with Logan Paul and Gary Vaynerchuk."
I know you're big into crypto,
Yeah, crypto's been killing it, man.
especially for you.
Agreed. I mean, you've been doing pretty well as well.
Yeah. Well, I like the space. I remember you called me
Crypto.
maybe like 8 months ago, and you're like, yeah.
What?
You go, yeah, just put $1.5 million into Bitcoin. You know, I'm pretty excited about it.
What?
Yeah. I'll show you my portfolio after this, but so me and Logan both bought punks. You guys have probably seen on his Twitter that he bought a bunch of crypto punks at the same time, right?
Yep.
Gary pulled us in
Yep.
that call.
Yep.
So have you ever told that story?
No.
Gary V, it's like fucking 11 p.m. Just out of nowhere, just calls me and he's like, "Yo, I got like 30 people to call. Hop in." I'm like,
Your auction of wool cloth sold.
here. He's like, "It'll be the best decision of your life. Just get in." I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And so I just joined the call. And I just see like Logan and I don't even know these other people. I
Yo.
don't want to put them on blast.
Every heavy hitter you can imagine who's
Exactly.
worth $1 billion was on this one call, and Gary V is in the little corner, the little
Yeah.
square. He's going, "Crypto punks. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the next Facebook." All of us were like, "Okay,
Everyone's
Gary."
judging. I'm texting Logan.
He's
I'm like,
is
Gary lost
this
his mind.
legit? Bro, all of us were like, "Yo, Gary's nuts. Yo, Gary was right again."
We're all just like, "Are you sure, Gary?" And we're asking questions, and he's like, "Just buy it." I was just so pulled by his like conviction.
Yeah.
That I bought a bunch.
And here at the end of this page, Dogpack writes, "Mr. Beast Crypto Wallet Investigation, Part 2, where I assume he'll be adding on to that in the Part 2 of his document or whatever if he makes that, or maybe that was intended for Part 2 of the video and he didn't make it. Now we have the most interesting section to me. Obviously this other stuff was compelling in terms of like actual points, I guess, but this section is titled The Biblical Beast, and that's, relating to the Antichrist allegations, which Mr. Beast is the Antichrist, make no mistake. I only mention this theory because multiple employees at Mr. Beast brought it up in a way that seemed like they unironically thought Jimmy might be controlled by Satan. Parentheses, I'm agnostic. Me too. 1. He calls himself Beast. True, I think that's a great point. He does call himself Beast. Why would he do that? 2. He promotes money and consumerism. Hey, weird. No one else does that. 3. He died and rose on the 3rd day, showing a link to the I spent 50 hours buried and him rising. 4. He performs miracles like healing the blind. 5. He's used deception to cultivate a large following. 6. He bought a church and replaced images of Jesus with his own beast logo. That is crazy.
I bought a church. When I
bought
first
a
started,
church.
there's just no warehouses or studios in Greenville, North Carolina. So there are a lot of churches.
Greenville?
We converted it by taking all the pews out and just converted it into a studio. And so that's where we started filming. The problem is it's not that big. So eventually we had to move, as our videos got bigger, over to a new studio we built. And
You
so
are
we
now
converted
AFK,
this
away
into
from
a
keyboard.
thumbnail place. So this is one of like our 4 thumbnails.
You are no
We're
longer
in
AFK.
our second studio. After this, I'm gonna take them to my main studio so they can see it. The cool stuff hasn't even happened yet.
That is absolutely insane. I remember seeing that and being like, you bought a fucking church, turned it into a thumbnail studio. It's funny, but it's also like, I don't know. It gives me the heebie-jeebies for some reason. And I'm not even a religious
doesn't
guy,
give me
but I do know Mr.
heebie-jeebies.
Beast is the Antichrist, obviously. as
People
we
buy
all know.
church-
And we
old
have a
churches all
screenshot
the
of a
time.
4chan post about it, as well as a picture of a Rolling Stone article with Mr. Beast and like a Scrooge McDuck vat of money. And it says, Timothy 6:10, in the King James Version of the Bible. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which, while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through
What?
sorrows. Then we have a video titled, What is the Mark of the Beast?
Couldn't see
According to
him.
the Bible, the mark of the beast is a mark that will be forced on people during the end of the world. And during this time, Revelation chapter 13 says that there will be 2 prominent figures that will rule the final world government. And those people are the beast of the sea, also known as Antichrist, and the beast of the earth, also known as the false prophet.
As well as a video titled, Don't Watch Mr. Beast Nursery Rhyme. Fire, by the way. Fire video.
Mr. Beast, what does he teach?
What?
Then we have an article from meaww.com, and the article is titled "Satan, Mr. Beast bids for Neuralink brain implant, claiming it could help him make more money. Trolls dub it most idiotic thing." Then Dogpack writes on the topic
What?
of performative charity, quote, "But when you give to the needy, do not let your left
Use
hand
19
know
copy.
what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." So just saying
Lucy
here,
Who,
like,
Linen
don't
Cloth
try to
3.
show the whole world when you do charity,
Use
because it
23
could be
copy.
shitty. You want to be rewarded by God for charity. You don't want to be rewarded by the world, so you get more acclaim for it or whatever. Then he writes here, "I cut this part from the video because it's obviously extreme speculation." I mean, that's putting it lightly. Extreme speculation is putting it lightly, I think, but I think it's for the best this got cut from the video. Now, what's funny about this is that Dogpack actually ended up being questioned about this by a few people on Twitter, to which he actually released this section of the video itself.
Okay, now I personally don't subscribe to any religion. I think there's wisdom in many religious texts. I don't take them literally, but
Stones
to each
Splinter
their
Skull
own.
attempts to
The
run
only
away in
reason I'm
fear.
talking about this theory that,
You feel
Mr.
normal.
Beast is the Antichrist or whatever
You
is
buy
because
cover.
it's so popular that
What?
multiple people, Mr. Beast works in the Bible Belt, and multiple people at Mr. Beast talked to me about this theory as if they
Stones Splinter Skull Thumper attempts
legitimately
to run away in fear.
believe there is a chance that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist. And as I talk about this, keep
You
in mind
22
with
copper.
religious texts, there's many different translations and interpretations. Okay, I just watched like one video and read the Wikipedia article on the Book of Revelation. I'm just going to present the evidence that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist as I see it, and it's quite baffling to be honest. So the Book of Revelation is the final part in the Christian Bible. It is a prophecy describing how the world will end. It describes two beasts. First, the beast from the sea, who is the Antichrist, and the second beast from the earth, which is the false prophet. The theory is actually that Mr. Beast is the second beast, by the way. This second beast
Stones Splinter Skull
performed
Thumper
great
attempts to run away in fear.
miracles. It made fire come down out of heaven to earth in the sight of everyone. And it deceived all of the people living on earth by
What?
means of the miracles which it was allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast. So this second beast is a false prophet performing great miracles as a means of distraction.
No, it's an Xbox
When
gamer
Mr.
tag.
Beast
You're
first started seeing
stupid.
Success on YouTube. He bought a church.
Where the heck are we? And what are you filming?
Yeah,
It's an Xbox gamer tag. You're
we're-
stupid.
To be specific, you're in a church.
Literally removing imagery of Jesus
receive
and
Linen
replacing
Cloth
it with the mark of the beast.
10 copper.
Mr. Beast also died and then rose on the third day. Mr. Beast has performed great miracles. And Mr. Beast teaches children to worship money, which the Bible clearly describes as
What?
the root
You
of
11
all
copper.
evil.
And when this clip farming account on Twitter called Feared Buck reposted the clip, Dogpack said, "This is one of the deleted segments from part 1. None of this is evidence, and I don't allege Mr. Beast is the Antichrist. I think it's a funny meme, though, and I respect other people's religious beliefs." Funny meme? Listen, I'm not religious, but let's
Stones
be
Splinter Seer
honest.
attempts to
We
run
know
away
what
in
Mr.
fear.
Beast is trying to do, okay? He is crawling out of
You
hell
19
right now.
copper.
He is demonic. He is the bringer of the rapture, frankly, in a bad way. And here we have a section titled YouTube Endgame. YouTube's product is attempting to make their customers advertisers. To increase profits, they are not only financially incentivized to cultivate as much attention as possible,
You
but
receive
also
Stones
increase the
Splinter Devil.
value of that attention so they can charge
You receive
advertisers
Linen
more
Cloth
for
3.
it. They can do this by promoting consumerism and
You
impulse
23 copper.
spending, especially to younger audiences who are more easily manipulated and will be customers for longer. This is literally how Mr. Beast increases his CPM, by being family friendly and putting consumer words and topics in the videos, including the $, credit cards, the word spent, etc. Another lucrative way YouTube can increase profits is by simply allowing AI content to eat more and more market share from human creators over time and decreasing the revenue split of AI-generated content until the platform is large majority
Stones Splinter Skull
AI-generated.
Thumper says,
Spotify has
destroy.
already been accused of promoting their own AI-generated music.
I should listen to some nice, relaxing music. Oh, here we go. Jazz for reading. Perfect. I don't plan on reading, obviously, because I never learned how. But some nice piano music should settle me
Stones Splinter
right
Skull
down.
Thumper attempts to run away in fear.
Wait, why do all these songs sound exactly the same? Who are any of
Paul
these
says,
artists?
LF group
It's
for
like
elite
kind of
quests.
a weird coincidence that they're all just first name, last name. Their profile photo is the album artwork of one of their EPs. They have no bio and no links to any social media. Most of them didn't start uploading music until this year, and yet they've ended up in these extremely popular playlists created by Spotify themselves. And what's going on with this guy's foot? There's something eerily non-human about these playlists, and some people have theorized that Spotify might be using AI to create a bunch of songs that they can package under random pseudonyms and then curate these into playlists that they push out onto all their users.
They have AI songs, they attribute them to people that don't exist, and this allows them to take royalties that would go to musicians and keep them for themselves.
I mean, just look at the number of likes on all these. They can advertise these wherever they want, all over their app. Now, I want to stress there's currently no proof that Spotify's doing this. I'm not saying for a fact that they are, but it's not hard to understand hypothetically that they would.
The issue I have with this is that children are using YouTube for an integral part of their development, and MrBeast has demonstrated the incredibly profitable nature of targeting this developmental period to manipulate them into believing things like that happiness comes from spending money and obtaining products. YouTube is effectively a government for the advertisers, by the advertisers, and removing human judgment and morals from that equation, while the platform's influence on youth continues to grow, is a recipe for a dystopian future. And he shows a quote here reading, "It remains to be seen if MrBeast's questionable charisma can thrive beyond the pull of YouTube's algorithm. Donaldson has openly admitted that he sees personality as a limitation for growth, that opening up on camera comes with the risk of being disliked." And that's definitely true. I think the thing that I've been thinking about MrBeast a lot, just like when you look at his career, is like his personality was more in the videos at the beginning, but as time goes on, the channel really doesn't become about him. He's barely a YouTuber in the traditional sense. You know, I talked about this in my Beast Games video with the failure that seems to have been, at least for MrBeast and Amazon in the short term. But, you know, the previous most subscribed YouTuber, at least in the English-speaking world, besides MrBeast, PewDiePie was a YouTuber through and through. Sure, he has like a couple of video editors, but the channel is really him sitting down, giving his personality, being like, I can't even do it. Fridays with PewDiePie. There we go. Just like being, you know, himself, you know, in all of his greatest moments and all of his cringe moments. That is the essence of a YouTuber, is like being vulnerable on camera. MrBeast is not that. He runs a business, a production company, and his face is just like the face of it, like at the most pure aesthetic, literal meaning of the term. Behind that face is not MrBeast. It's just like this whole production company of content. And I think that's really impressive. It's cool to see someone do that, but it does kind of like show that YouTube has become a lot more corporate. It's become, I think, in a lot of cases, less focused on personality. There will always be personalities people flock to. MrBeast is, for the most part, an exception on YouTube, at least at the scale he does it. But it is interesting to think about how the platform has changed to where, like, it used to be just a website of like goofy people yelling into a camera. The most high budget thing you had was fucking Fred. Hey, it's Fred! And I'm gonna go grocery shopping! And now, you know, there's a lot of people on YouTube who are running giant businesses with like whole teams behind them and stuff like that. I mean, for me, for example, right, I am a YouTuber. My personality is in a lot of the videos, but I also have a bunch of like contractors that work for me, and I have like a whole business. And that wasn't even like a conceivable thing just a few years ago on YouTube. That wasn't a thing people did. So it's really interesting to see how that's kind of changed a lot with time. And I think, you know, Dogback could be right. This could lead to a very dystopian future ultimately, where, you know, much like it happened on TV, because this did happen on TV for sure once it got super commercialized, children are conditioned to associate good with like money or like buying a product, and that's, you know, at a small scale not inherently a problem, because it's good to have money, it's good to want more money, and it's okay to buy things sometimes, but the direct association with like buy thing, you achieve happiness, is obviously not true, right? And you know, it does kind of set up an interesting question as to like what is the future of the platform and the general populace in general, and, you know, the media, if MrBeast is at the head of it. Finally, Dogpack links a post on the Hacker News website that says, "My kids love MrBeast. I'm uncomfortable with it, and I can't put my finger on it. It feels like he makes life look like you stand a good chance of having someone walk in and give you $100 grand. Maybe there's no harm in thinking that, but it feels like the same thing as buying a lottery ticket. I guess YouTube is free, but is the time spent on that channel worth it over doing other things? I admire the approach he takes with this craft, but I can't really enjoy or respect the work." And have a reply here saying, "I'm also uncomfortable with it. There's nothing inherently wrong with philanthropy. What I'm seeing is a very successful business with an enormous and very expensive campus. MrBeast himself is very rich, so what I'm seeing is a corporation claiming to do everything for the benefit of others while actually taking a lot of money very visibly for themselves. His channel made $54 million from YouTube in 2021, and probably a lot more from corporate sponsors. Make no mistake, this is a business, not charity. And some of his side businesses are downright shady. His burger chain, and this is in reference to Beast Burger or whatever, is run out of ghost kitchens, which make food for multiple virtual chains like MrBeast. A ghost kitchen, just to give a little more information, context, whatever, if you don't know, is basically like there's like a location that is a restaurant, but it's not like you're ordering directly from the restaurant. You're ordering online, and to local business, you know, whether it's like a mom and pop place, like a small business, or whether it's like a ghost kitchen created explicitly for that purpose, is making the food and shipping it out. But it's not like the traditional corporate structure of, you know, you have like the corporate office or whatever, and then you have all these little locations that are like being fed information and supplies and stuff like that. And it's not even like the franchise structure, which is like you have all these individual fast food chains, and, you know, someone personally, a business guy, can like buy it, so you own that, you know, thing and you make money from it, but ultimately it's still feeding back to corporate, right? It's not that structure. It's a completely new kind of thing that's really been birthed as, you know, as a result of COVID, where people didn't want to go to a restaurant directly because they were masked the freak up or whatever. So as a result, this is like a cheaper alternative to keep business going. The burgers are apparently a crapshoot. Yeah, they're not very good. Don't buy the Carl's grilled cheese, whatever you do. Don't buy Chris's kitty dog. It depends on which ghost kitchen made your burgers as to what you get. Quality control is zero, yet they charge top dollar for the Mr. Beast name. And finally, he links a video titled Bo Burnham's Opinion of Social Media compilation based Bo.
We need less commentary. We need less takes, less people talking about fucking everything all of the time.
And that's going to be it for this document. A lot of the information was obviously repeated from his video, but it was interesting to see more clarification in regards to like sources and, you know, people that inspired him and like research studies like he linked at the beginning about like the effects of social media on children and their brains and how they perceive themselves, how they interact with the world. And ultimately it was, you know, also cool to see him kind of decide to not include the Mr. Beast as the Antichrist allegation. But I do find it really funny that people who apparently work for Mr. Beast believe that he is the Antichrist. I think if you're working there, you probably wouldn't want to work there anymore. Anyway, that's about it. Bye. People get banned from YouTube for a lot of reasons. Some bullied kids, others did other things to kids. In some cases, people didn't even deserve to be banned at all, but the ban hammer has no mercy. Austin Jones, known online as AusDudePro, was a vlogger who started posting to YouTube in 2007, with most of the content on his uploads being covers of songs by bands like Fall Out Boy and 21 Pilots. After these covers became extremely popular, he even started releasing original songs, targeted at the same demographic that listened to the songs he covered, very young girls. On the surface, it seemed innocuous, just another person capitalizing on that young demographic with their music. Nothing too uncommon, all things considered. In 2013, he also started posting to Vine, which became popular due to his biting comedy.
Tree, you need to get your together. This just ain't cutting it. You look stupid!
But it turns out Austin had a much darker reason for trying to become popular with teenage girls. At some point during the year of our Lord, 2010, when he would have been 17 to 18 years old, he presumably took a stroll through his follower list, picked whichever ones were the most to his liking, and took to their DMs to make a most inappropriate request. Specifically, he asked for twerking videos, and due to being starstruck and very young, many girls went along with it. I don't think it's possible to know how many girls got this message and just didn't reply, but it's clear that he targeted multiple girls at once, showing he wasn't even trying to be cautious about how he did it. However, the girls he was trying to groom into doing this were so young that they didn't even know how to twerk, but that was no biggie for Austin since he just showed them how to do it.
Cassius has reached level 60.
A twerk tutorial from a serial pedophile was not on the list of things I expected to see today. I have to wonder how many times he did this, because he's doing it pretty efficiently here. Did he watch some how-tos himself to get the technique down so he could pass it on? Some fire YouTube clap content? Regardless of how ridiculous and funny it may be to watch this bowl-cut predator throw it back, he quickly accumulated a large collection of illicit images and videos from minors. To make it even more egregious than it already is, Austin wasn't just getting twerk videos from fans who happened to be minors. He specifically requested that they state their age loud and clear while doing it. One of the most common defenses from predators is the claim that they didn't know the victim's age. But Austin was really giving his future lawyer a run for his money here. Though this began all the way back in 2010, the story first broke on May 10th, 2015, when a girl called Taylor uploaded a video titled The Austin Jones Situation, in which she recounted her experience with Austin. She decided to message him after some sad posts he had made on Facebook, and as soon as she told him she was 15, he proceeded to compliment her and ask for a twerking video, followed by a twerking tutorial. It's almost as if the age was the trigger that prompted him to do it.
attempts to run away in fear.
Hey you may be in danger. United Healthcare CEO says maybe a third of
Aggro.
citizens were affected by a recent hack. A massive AT&T data breach affected 73 million customers. Oh, you like concerts, buddy? 500 million people's user data was just breached through a Ticketmaster hack. Your information could be at risk. Who's gonna save you now, buddy? I thought I was safe. It turns out my data may be breached. It's almost over. Please don't let them find it. But I can help with today's sponsor, Aura. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocallers. Hey man, just leave me alone. Spammers and others who want to learn about you. Aura can identify data brokers who are exposing your info right now and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. You don't even have to do anything. Data brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but it can be very confusing to figure out how. How do we submit an opt-out request? Never ask that question ever again with Aura, because they'll handle it all for you.
Thank you.
It also has so much more. It's an all-in-one app with parental controls, antivirus, a VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. If you're tired of picking up the phone to robo-scammers to the point you don't even want to use it, then Aura is for you. Stop data brokers in their tracks from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor, aura.com/turkeytom for a 14-day free trial to see how much of your personal data is being sold. What's that? Your data is safe now? Oh. Thank me later. In her video, Taylor pointed out that he never actually said her name in the video, suggesting that it had already been made beforehand, probably sent to some previous victim. Still, she refused to send anything due to being insecure about how she looked, among other reasons, prompting Austin to stop responding altogether, making it clear that his one and only interest was sexual. Eventually, Taylor told the story to some guy she met on Twitter who disliked Austin but for other reasons, and this person, who went unnamed in her video, decided to post it. This eventually caught Austin's attention, and he engaged with it, not to apologize or anything, but to claim that the incident had been caused by him taking antidepressants. This is like when Vito from The Sopranos got caught in a gay club with a guy and tried to claim that it was his heart medication that made him do it. Your Honor, I'm not gay, but I was watching a lot of Skibbity Toilet at the time. Austin proceeded to threaten to sue the guy who posted this stuff to Twitter on the grounds of slander, despite the accusations being verifiably true. Given Austin started doing this in 2010, and this video came out in 2015, this is probably not the first time he's threatened to sue people to keep his business on the low. The person on Twitter that Taylor might have been referencing in her video may be a YouTuber called DFizzy, who was spearheading the efforts on Twitter to expose Austin as a predator. But these efforts didn't yield anything of note besides Austin claiming he asked for twerk videos because he thought they were funny, and a classic YouTuber style apology sent in private to one of his victims.
Hannah, I just actually really do think you're pretty, and I just wanted to make you feel special, and I'm sorry you're mad at me.
I wonder if he really thought going, "Sorry I made you mad, girl," doing his best Swagapino impression would get him off the hook for soliciting minors. He should have tried that on the judge too. Maybe just Mew in the courtroom. As a consequence of this information coming to light, people made a petition to take him off the Vans Warped Tour, which did achieve its goal since he eventually left of his own accord. About a month later, on June 29th, he released another apology, this time not in private to one of his victims, but to his channel.
I've recently come under some fire on social media for mistakes I've made in the past. I used to ask fans for twerking videos. Yes, twerking the dance move. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I think is right, and I shouldn't have done it.
In the video, he excuses his behavior with his depression, going into painstaking detail about all the tragedies that ever happened in his life, from his sibling dying to his bad relationship with his dad, as if any of it was relevant to him trying to watch underage girls twerk. He also brings up his self-tendencies and claims he was 5150'd for an unspecified time, and tries to defend himself from the accusations, saying,
"Nothing ever went further than twerking videos. There were never any nudes, never any physical contact. It never happened."
He might have not been lying about this at that point, but it would eventually change. No one outside his circle took his apology seriously, but his fans were unusually forgiving. The next year, after these allegations had already been made public, saw Austin's biggest growth so far, and he released videos without any backlash. In May 2017, he got to around 500,000 subscribers, and mind you, he only had 90,000 when his apology came out. The thing about predators, though, is that they always reoffend. A slap on the wrist list,
He had a lot of
Chad
loot.
become more careful with his grooming. A court document shows that in August of 2016, he began DMing a 14-year-old girl, feigning shock when she revealed her age, explaining how she was lucky he was speaking to her. He then asked her to prove she was his biggest fan, demanding exactly the content you'd expect, but this time involving actual nudity. In May 2017, he found another victim referred to as Victim A. He offered her to do a tryout or audition, which involved her doing the same thing. He actually framed the entire situation as if he was doing them a favor, which I can't tell if it's just a line he came up with to manipulate these girls easier, or if he actually believes that's the case. Following a criminal investigation by DHS, which included a summons to Comcast to provide the DMs, Austin was incarcerated in June 2017 and his house was searched. The illicit material was all found, and he confessed to everything during an interrogation. The arrest led to a media firestorm, with YouTubers and mainstream media reporting on it. Austin faced up to 30 years in prison for the possession and procurement of illicit material containing children, with the prosecution arguing he had been caught talking to at least 6 underage girls between 2010 and 2017. 3 days after his arrest, he paid $100,000 bail, but was still kept under house arrest and wasn't allowed to access the internet. YouTube initially refused to delete the YouTube channel, refusing to comment on the reasons behind it, stringing the channel's existence along until 2019, when it was finally banned. Around the same time, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. As of right now, his release is set for December 31st, 2027. Even still, when he gets out, I hope someone supervises what he's up to online. Otherwise, we can look forward to some more emo band covers, which are kind of good, and twerk tutorials, which are, you know, he's a pedophile. At first glance, 8 Passengers was just like any other family YouTube channel. Created in 2013 by Ruby Frank, a mother of 6, the channel began as an attempt to slow down time as she realized her oldest was going to be 18 soon. It just so happened that this wholesome family project made for extremely profitable YouTube content. The very first video posted was a gender reveal party for their then unborn child, and once the baby was born, it was shown in the video right out of the womb. Rarely does someone with that large a family have the time and patience to regularly turn their life into content, so it's not surprising that 8 Passengers became one of the largest channels of its genre. By 2021, it had gained over 2 million subscribers, getting over 40 million views a month at the peak of its popularity. However, the success didn't come without some trouble. Over the years, fans began noticing some problematic behaviors from Ruby, such as filming her kids even when they expressly asked her not to. This raised questions concerning the privacy of Ruby's kids, along with their ability to consent to being filmed in the first place. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Since the channel is deleted, it's impossible to personally verify it, but it was claimed that the comment sections were full of files posting suggestive timestamps, something that's been documented as a phenomenon in family-oriented channels and kids content in general. This wasn't a problem exclusive to Ruby's channel whatsoever, and it really wasn't her fault, but it certainly added to the list of concerns people had with exposing the inner workings of your family life as much as she did. It was only in 2019 that there was an uproar in the community after she was notified that her youngest child, a 5-year-old, had forgotten to pack her lunch, and her reaction really speaks for itself.
Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry, and hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
In and of itself, this was more than enough to pique people's attention to the possibility that Ruby was an abusive parent, as dysfunctional food dynamics are often one of the most common manifestations of parental abuse. People began digging up other things, some of which were lighter in nature, like having kids do push-ups as a punishment, some of which were a lot more serious.
I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
Based on the clips people collected from the channel's own uploads, the older boy, Chad, got the worst of it. At one point, he was sent to a boot camp called Anasazi, where he had to live out in the wilderness without electronics. This is what they said on the topic of why they did this.
It's an accumulation of things over years, well before we ever started YouTubing or well before we ever got into social media. And it's reached a point where Chad needs to develop some very basic maturity and skills that he's going to need as an adult. And
This is a chance for like a reset, like a start, like a do-over, like a fresh beginning.
Yeah.
After spending over 2 months there, the family reunited in an emotional vlog, but the joy died down quickly as after pranking his younger brother by making him pack all of his things overnight, telling him they were going to Disneyland, Chad lost his bed privileges for 7 months. This isn't to say that doing that to your younger brother isn't a dick move you should be punished for, but 7 months with no bed is obviously crossing a line. The backlash against Ruby's parenting techniques was further compounded by TikTok, where a bunch of people were uploading snippets of her abusive behavior and getting a lot of views off of of it. Videos surfaced of her threatening her kids with severe punishments, including threatening to behead a stuffed animal belonging to one of her very young daughters. It got to a point where they could no longer afford to ignore it, so when Business Insider offered to interview them, they jumped on the opportunity. There, they shared several interesting details, including the fact that CPS had visited them, only to catch Ruby baking with her daughter, and the home perfectly in order, prompting the person visiting to embarrassingly apologize and leave. However, none of the criticism was ever accepted even partially, as the couple relegated all of it to haters purposely misconstruing them. The interview didn't help their public image, and their reputation after this never really recovered. After this, their upload schedule gradually slowed down as Ruby searched for other avenues to make money. In mid-2020, she partnered with Jody Hildebrand, who used to be the family's therapist, in a project that aimed to be a support group for mothers, giving them advice and helping them treat those lost in the darkness of a distortion. With language as vague as that, you can be sure something strange is going on. Ruby's personal life and online presence were completely rearranged around this project called Connections, with some people pointing out it sounded a lot like a cult. She renamed the 8 Passengers Instagram to Moms of Truth and completely rebranded it, using it exclusively to promote this new project of hers.
Let me tell you the truth. This world where there are gangs and there is distortion and there is lust and there are people who want to hurt others, that's not the real world. That is the delusional world. We have so many people living in the delusional world and so few people living in the truth that it looks like the distorted world is the real world.
This rebrand came with a conscious decision to stop sharing as much of her family life, which I assume was done strategically so that fewer people were scrutinizing her decisions as a mom, but it sort of had the opposite effect. Not only were people already aware of her past deeds, but the kooky, vague, quasi-religious lingo she started using after she began Connections was raising a lot of red flags, leading people to think that something insidious was going on behind the scenes. As Ruby and Jody grew closer, Ruby decided to move Jody in to live with the rest of the family around 2022. And according to the kids' testimonies, Jody slowly brainwashed Ruby into becoming more and more vile. She even pitted her against her husband, Kevin, who was forced to abide by their draconian rules to continue being a part of the family and see the kids. Kevin was gradually pushed out of the household, first being disallowed to enter the second floor, and then persuaded to move out for bringing bad energy to the family. Kevin's absence from the house was correlated with a significant worsening in the kids' living conditions, with Ruby often leaving them at the house without supervision for several days, even covering the windows with newspapers so no one would look in. She also forced them to work outside for hours without food and water in over 100-degree weather. The kids were being isolated and malnourished, being fed the bare minimum to keep them sustained. If this wasn't a cult before, it absolutely was now. In May 2023, Ruby and Jody relocated the family to Jody's house in Ivins, which no one, including Kevin, had any knowledge of. The abuse continued until the 30th of August, when Russell, the second youngest, managed to escape the house via an open window. He ran to one of the neighbors, begging him for food and water. The neighbor immediately noticed that Russell had tape around his ankles, looked emaciated, and had open wounds, so he called the police.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. Said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his leg, he's hungry,
You are now
and he's
escaped away from
When
keyboard.
the police came, they discovered the horrific living conditions the kids were in, prompting the CPS to immediately take the kids away. They also promptly
no longer
arrested the
AFK.
2 women who were charged with 6 counts of child abuse. Following Ruby's arrest, her sisters also took to Instagram, saying the arrest needed to happen. One of Ruby's daughters, Sherry, posted to Instagram celebrating her mom's arrest. She had already moved out long before the arrest and tried to alert the police to her mother's antics, calling a wellness check on the family when she'd heard the siblings had been left in the house by themselves for 5 days. But unfortunately, nothing came of it. About a week following the arrest, the 8 Passengers channel was taken down by YouTube, and the rest of the related online presence was slowly shut down. During the trial, Ruby went out of her way to make herself even more condemnable.
Oh, I
accusing
dinged.
Russell of
Oh, no, yeah, well, I knew I
sisters,
didn't
claiming he had
remember.
admitted to it in front of her. There was no proof, of course. What there was proof of was Ruby referring to her kids as the spawn of Satan. This phrase came from her diary, in which she admitted to refusing to feed the demons, shaving her son's head as a punishment, making her daughter stand in the rain for hours, and dousing her with water they used to wash the dog, all in an effort to break the deal with the devil she believed believed they had made. In the end, she took a deal and pled guilty to 4 counts of child abuse to prevent being convicted of 6 and being sentenced to up to 30 years in prison. Needless to say, we won't be hearing about Ruby Frank for a long time. Calvin Lee Vale, better known as Leafy Is Here, needs no introduction. He first started uploading videos around 2012, originally focusing on Minecraft Let's Plays. However, this kind of content was already very saturated by the time he began, so it never got off the ground, leading him to pursue other avenues. Eventually, he added unscripted commentary over CSGO footage to his arsenal of formats, sporadically appearing alongside the Let's Plays. By late 2015, it was clear that commentary was outcompeting the other formats by a large margin, so he decided to focus exclusively on it, and the content started spreading around YouTube like wildfire. By January 2016, he had over 600,000 subscribers, ballooning to almost 4 million in the next 6 months, with 4 to 5 million views every single day. His success came with a very large community of people who embraced Leafy's style of commentary and even began repeating certain terms like hiss, or a 3-word phrase that can get you demonetized nowadays. Many other creators began doing the exact same format and even became successful in their own right doing it. However, there were also downsides to his success. For example, before, when he was a small channel, he could just say whatever he wanted about anyone he was reacting to, and it was inconsequential. But now that he had this gigantic community, it meant whoever he made a video on was immediately swarmed by thousands of people, flooding the person's comments with negativity. Usually, this didn't result in much. Mr. Black Darkness 666, for example, cast a curse on Leafy and all of his fans.
Oh God, Lucifer, hear my plea, as my will is to send misfortune. He has done me wrong, and now he will feel my wrath.
They eventually met up on Drama Alert, where they sorted out their differences. However, not every target of Leafy's was going to be as simple to deal with. Just a few months later, he got into more drama when he made a video on a YouTuber called Tommy NC. Unsurprisingly, a lot of his fans went to Tommy's channel and left negative comments, causing Tommy, someone who is obviously developmentally challenged in some way, to become upset and respond in a video.
Hello, folks. I'm having a difficult
You're a
time
grown
right now
man and
because
you're
some
crying.
people are threatening my life, threatening my family.
Like, there's a difference between crying for others and crying for yourself on camera. I won't ever cry for myself on fucking camera, but I will cry when something's sad. Like when the system fucked me or stuff like that, you know? Like when something's really sad that you can't beat, you know? Tragic stuff I'll cry for, but this stuff, this self-pity,
All I wanted to do was inspire people.
I've had tears of rage. I mean, I cry all the time, but like not like this, not like the self-pity stuff. No. Well, some of it's self-pity, but it's like not like, oh, I'm so fucked up or whatever. You gotta help me. It's like, I don't know. Like, I've never been like that. I will cry when something's really fucked up and there's nothing else you can do about it but cry. Like the system. Or a man trying to kill me, or threaten the love of my life, or any of this stuff. Like, you know, that shit sucks. There's nothing we could have done about it. He was sick, you know. He was gonna do that. We don't know why he did that. And so I'll cry about it, but not like this, where it's like,
Some Leafy guy or Team Star people are threatening me.
This led to a public outcry against Leafy, spearheaded by Ethan Klein, who made
he
a
was
video
scared, a
criticizing
middle-class
Leafy for
white
being a
guy.
bully. Leafy ended up deleting the Tommy NC video and making an apology, thanking his fans for supporting him
That
and
is
explaining his side
evil.
of the story. However, this apology was followed by a video accusing Ethan of hypocrisy, claiming that he behaved very differently in the DMs behind the scenes, and had done videos making fun of kids in the past. Regardless of who exactly was at fault for the bridge between H3H3 and Leafy being burned, the end result was the same, and soon other bridges would go up in flames as well. In mid-2016, both iDubbbz and Pyrocynical came out against Keemstar, someone who, at least up until that point, was a close associate of Leafy's. However, soon after they made their callouts, Leafy jumped right on the bandwagon and made his own video, claiming Keem had been talking them to other YouTubers. Unaffected by this drama, and maybe even propelled by it, Leafy continued to do insane numbers, nearing 5 million subs. The tide only changed in September when iDubbbz released the Leafy Is Here content cop. Hailed by many is the greatest Content Cop video, it was the most effective critique of Leafy by far. There was no aspect of Leafy's format that went without criticism, from him repeating himself a lot and stretching out the transition slides to make videos longer, to going after low-hanging fruit targets with low-effort videos. Most memorably, iDubbbz claimed Leafy could dish it but couldn't take it, theorizing that Leafy was insecure about his chin based on a series of pictures where he went out of his way to hide it. The reason the Content Cop was so effective is that in Leafy's response, he spends the majority of the video defending himself against the weak chin allegations, and as later proved by iDubbbz in his final video about Leafy, he had blocked the word chin or iDubbbz from being mentioned. His reputation, both among other creators and the community at large, was severely damaged, and there were very few people still in his corner, even if he still retained a decent amount of viewers. However, they were soon to go too, as his upload schedule slowed down, presumably due to how much of a negative experience it became to upload as frequently as he did, and eventually, in December 2017, he went on an indefinite hiatus. One factor that usually goes ignored when talking about Leafy's hiatus is the fact that he already
Oh my god, did you see them all spawn?
He'd already gotten in trouble for making fun of trans activist Milo Stewart, and it was right around that time that YouTube was beginning to become
all
strict on
spawned
that kind of stuff. This meant that it was a huge risk for him to continue putting all of his chips into YouTube, since many people already thought his content was little more than glorified cyberbullying. Admittedly, the humor was very rough around the edges, I think, even for that time. In his video about Keemstar, he had the clip of Keemstar screaming out the N-word play multiple times within the first minute of the video. It's pretty insane to think this was mainstream YouTube at the time. Another factor is that he infamously had a spat with Nick from the Hey Watch Your Mouth channel over allegations of underpaid editing work, which, though it wasn't too significant a blow for Leafy overall, probably made him more hesitant to work with other people on content. This meant that the brunt of his content was stuff he made on his own, and over the course of his uploads, Leafy makes it very clear that the grind, especially during the times he was uploading daily, was extremely exhaustive. After he took a leave from the internet, he did make some occasional appearances, such as when he gave an interview to Drama Alert in 2018, with the two now being on better terms, but still, Leafy was largely offline, until March 31st, 2020, when, after iDubbbz transitioned, which I think is a very apt word to describe what happened to him, Leafy returned with a pair of videos targeted at him, one of which called Content Cop for multi-day Smash Mouth parody, where he just called iDubbbz a cuck. This sparked a Leafy is Here revival, as despite how much hate he was getting a few years prior, people craved the lowbrow, politically incorrect content without even knowing it. He began to make the same exact kind of videos he used to do, but on everyone that had become relevant during his absence to the general public's acclaim, as he instantly started getting 1 to 2 million views per video. The most successful instance of him doing this was when he targeted Pokimane, criticizing her for supposedly having low-effort reaction content, abusing the copyright system against people she disliked, her appearance, and last but not least, publicizing the fact that she had a boyfriend, to the dismay of her tier 3 subs who sent for her. All things considered, it wasn't...
Oh my god, she's got a boyfriend. You listen to you fucking jealous, like, idiots. Fucking stalker pieces of shit.
Place, but the video had an impact nonetheless, as in the immediate aftermath of the video's release, Pokimane boyfriend started trending on Twitter. Leafy continued to release videos on anyone who crossed his path, and despite him being an obvious underdog, the audience was with him. The terms of service, on the other hand, wasn't. Eventually, he posted a video featuring an animation of Ethan Klein, his longtime arch nemesis, phantom taxing himself, which YouTube took issue with. Shortly after, his channel was banned by YouTube, citing repeated violations of community guidelines concerning bullying. This caused a bit of a stir, with many people blaming both Ethan Klein and Pokimane for it, citing Ethan's connection to the then CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, though both he and Pokimane came out to deny these accusations. Just a few months later, Leafy's Twitch was banned as well, supposedly for hateful conduct and threats of violence against a person or group of people. Leafy continued attempting comebacks, and in December 2020, Keemstar announced Leafy's partnership with Red Bloom LLC, which made a new account for Leafy simply called Weefy as an attempt to ban evade by having Leafy be the host of a show, but not the owner of the account. YouTube didn't fall for it and banned it as well. He then tried to make a third account called Lucky in 2021, but the ban hammer swung mercilessly. In 2023, he attempted yet another comeback on Rumble, where he got relatively decent views for a while. However, he stopped streaming in September, with members of his audience already speculating that he just lost interest in making content due to how reduced his reach had become and his content having changed from its original format to him often just gaming with random people. It's quite possible that the stream stopped because he got banned from Twitter, since he was getting a lot of traction reaction on there for saying wildly offensive things that I can't repeat, and for having fallen off terribly in the looks department. Someone needs to get this guy working out ASAP, or he'll become his arch enemy Ethan Klein. Not in a fat-phobic way. Regardless, it seems that his ban made him become demotivated, as his send-off Instagram post read, "See you in 6 months to 5 years when I get unbanned off one of these websites again. Thank you for all the support and money." Eventually, we may see more Leafy, but as of right now, we can be sure he won't ever be back on YouTube. Lieutenant Corbus, real name Sophia, was another member of the commentary YouTube scene
Lieutenant
who became known due to her
Corbus?
being just 11 years old. She shocked people
She's
by how
11
she
years
spoke in her
old.
videos, often cursing and talking about very explicit topics. The novelty of her content was that she was as articulate as other commentary people who were significantly older, which you could see as a merit of hers or a sign that the commentary community wasn't that bright to begin with. In her words, she saw herself as an amalgamation of multiple other YouTubers, including iDub, Sneeko, and H3H3. The specific video of hers that put her in the spotlight was released in early 2016 and consisted of her commenting on the Fine Bros React World controversy when the Fine Brothers attempted to trademark the word react.
So they basically made a video that's main idea was just about licensing reaction videos as a whole. That means if you make a reaction video, you pay them royalties. You can't license something that widespread just because you're like pretty much the biggest company that does that. Because you definitely were not the first people to make reaction videos.
On March 9th, the video made its way to Pyrocynical subreddit, getting a fair amount of traction, but nothing compared to when it caught the attention of Pyrocynical himself, who gave her a shout out in a video uploaded soon after. This became the defining moment of her career, as she grew from basically nothing to over 60,000 subscribers in a day. Seeing this monumental growth, Keemstar also decided to platform her, which further boosted her popularity. About a week later, Corbus had over 180,000 subs, and while her explosive initial growth eventually slowed down, she continued to gain subs at a good pace, getting hundreds of thousands of views per video. But things soon began turning sour. Corbus eventually made a video essentially disavowing the community at large, and based on what she herself says in that video, this was because they'd already turned against her, supposedly due to her being rude to no fuckers' friends. Her critiques boiled down to a few factors: lack of originality, low standards, and most importantly, in-group loyalties that protected anyone in the community from criticism. She found this hypocritical since most of the content creators in this sphere got big off of making fun of others, but didn't tolerate being treated the same way. There were follow-ups to this video, but none had the same impact as the first, since at that point, she'd already burned bridges with pretty much every other commentary channel. To no one's surprise, Corbus moved away from the community format altogether, but continued to do skits and freeform rant videos, eventually changing her name to Soph. It's interesting that she mentioned Sneeko being one of her influences, because over time, these rants grew increasingly political in nature, making fun of woke
Sneeko.
celebrities and people in Hollywood being pedos. It's very odd
What?
to see because the format was still indistinguishable from regular content you'd see on YouTube, but now it had a distinctive right-wing vibe, becoming increasingly
Oh
present
no,
in the
she's
new
the
uploads.
devil?
This element continued to intensify.
Multiracial white supremacy? Oh no. The 11-year-old is Satan? Oh no.
Until it boiled over into an 18-minute screed against Islam called Be Not Afraid, none of which can be shown
What?
because it seems there's a really strict content ID ban on it that prevents any segment from being up.
Yeah, the 11-year-old ranting her Hitler bullshit is making me feel ill. Karma police, arrest this girl, her Hitler hairdo is making me feel ill, and we're still on her pay, or we have crashed her party. Oh, you crashed you crashed the little white girl's Hitler party. Come on. Come on. Conservatives are okay. They aren't like Hitler or anything.
In the video, she's wearing a hijab and addressing comments she made on Discord,
Oh,
where she
no.
said that there should be a second
Please don't wear a
mustache man to
hijab,
go
white
gorilla mode
girl.
on the Muslims. Can't really get more specific than that, thanks YouTube. This once again
Wow.
brought the attention of the commentary YouTubers she'd already beefed with in the past, with the fuckers making a video criticizing her views and accusing her of Islamophobia.
The
This became much
fuckers.
larger than YouTube though, with mainstream media outlets like BuzzFeed making articles
Troll
about
type has
her,
reached
which
level
ended
60.
up having the opposite effect, as she was now nearing 1 million subscribers. Despite being just 14 years old at the time, she became one of the biggest voices in the right-wing sphere of YouTube. Which
Oh,
again,
come on.
merit of
She's
hers
signed
or a
up with
fault.
the devil. I mean, I'm sure as soon as they figured out that she has slightly conservative leanings because of her fucking parents, they started feeding her all this stuff, and she started watching all these right-wingers and stuff. Oh, Dark Irons. Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess. But yeah, they're level 10.
Aggro.
Okay.
Here.
What's cyan? Oh, good.
Fuldar says, no 2-bit trader will stop the powder from getting to Iron Band.
Delivering these
Unit 7
barrels
copper.
to the excavation site is hard work, but there are so many depending on us
Experience
to get
gained,
the blast
270.
powder there.
Quest accepted after the ambush.
The fuck was that? That was a python right outside my door.
It'll take more than a
Let's go
dark
see if that
ambush
guy
to stop the
dies.
deliveries. But sire, I would never have suspected
Maybe
him
I
to be
better
one of their
take a spear
sympathizers.
or like a
We've
bow.
been working with him for almost a year now.
Maybe I can go get his python.
I missed the signs. Well, I'll consider that later.
Where was this?
We've been hauling the barrels of powder back and forth in trips before this business. Now we have to split up the work. Moran's taking the barrels and I'm watching over the other ones. I don't feel safe letting Moran haul the rest of the shipment by himself. When he's ready to go, maybe you could escort him on his
God
next
damn it.
trip.
You can't do that? Oh, come on, build this better. Why even make it if you can't climb it? Fucking dumb. Fucking developers. You can, but it's annoying. Now, where was this? This was... It's long over now. Well, let's see what I can pull the... He fought valiantly. I bled out. He doesn't know where I am. God damn it. Get back up. Get back up.
Hello, adventurer! You'll be escorting me
Experience
to the
gained,
excavation
110.
site? That's good to hear.
Quest accepted. Protecting
After
the shipment.
Scion and his cronies, who knows what else the Dark Irons might have up their sleeves. Anyways, let me just make some final checks. Talk to me again when you're ready to go. Ready to go, adventurer? First, we need to get this powder to Iron Band. It'll be a lot for me to carry, and these parts can get dangerous. And who knows what else the Dark Irons might have in store for me. I'll feel a lot better with you coming along.
Did he find my corpse? I think he did, right as I died. No. I had one arrow left, which is why I ran. I was like, I can't beat him. Need 5 more arrows and I don't have them. I'm rusty, which is why I was fighting him. I'm like fucking rusty now. Well, I'm gonna put the bow away because all I can stand to do is lose it, really.
Protecting the shipment failed.
Oh no! I let him out of the range! Oh well. It starts right here, right? That's okay. He'll start over in a minute. I didn't get very far.
Rollog like has reached level 60. Reave area has reached level 60.
Rolog like. I'm gonna go find sulfur.
adventurer.
Quest
First, we
accepted.
need to get this
Protecting the
powder to
shipment.
Iron Band. It'll be a lot for me to carry, and these parts can get dangerous. And who knows what else the Dark Irons might have in store for me. I'll feel a lot better with you.
Well met.
Miran says, help. I've only one hand to defend myself with. Dark Iron Raider says, never cross a Dark Iron road. Miran says, send them on. I'm not afraid of some scrawny beasts. Dark Iron Raider attempts to run away in fear. You receive loot, linen cloths 2. You loot 4 copper.
What's on your mind?
Dark Iron Raider attempts to run away in fear.
Nice
You receive
green.
loot, soldier's girdle of the bear. You receive loot, linen cloths 3. You loot 7 copper. Miran says, ah, here at last. It's going to feel so good to get rid of these barrels.
Oh, good.
Imogen wants to know what the slowdown is, eh?
Experience
Iron Band
gained,
is putting together its
340.
latest progress report with details, but I can tell you this, it's the Trogs. Recently, just before the Trogs surfaced within the site, we had uncovered a large number of strange carved idols. But we didn't have a chance to study them, for soon after their discovery, the Trogs chased us away from the ruins. And those idols have a strange effect on the Trogs. It makes them go berserk. Bring me 8 idols. I want to study them, and I want them out of Trog hands. You can find the idols on the Trogs infesting the site.
Woo!
Quest accepted. Gathering idols.
Sketchy as hell. But I got the loot.
I've the finest wares in the land.
Yay, lots of greens. Don't really need the hotch of meat, but I do need to cook. So let's cook. No, wait, I don't need that. I need that. Yes, bristle whiskers catfish, long jaw mud snappers 243. I'll take 5 bristle whisker catfish.
You create bristle whisker catfish. You create bristle whisker catfish. You create bristle whisker catfish. You create bristle whisker catfish. You create bristle whisker catfish.
Safe travels.
Oh,
Interest ya,
thank
the
the light, the powder is here. But it is troubling news that you bring as well. To think that the Dark Irons have
Off with you.
sympathizers able to procure
Protecting the
this sort
shipment
of
completed.
material for their dastardly plans.
Experience
That's a
gained,
matter for
1050.
someone else to consider. Some other time. I must put this powder to good use.
Gonna go hunting for this idiot over here. I heard him running on the water. Oh shit, what was that? What was that? Oh. Fuck shot at me, and why? Fuck's going on? I'm leaving. Hey, what's that? gonna get ganked doing this, but I don't care. I'm gonna try. If I die, I die. I don't have anything. If they rob me, they rob me. I kind of need this. I heard something. This is greedy, but I'm getting too greedy. I need to just go home. Fuck. What? I blasted him in the face with a shotgun! Oh my god. I'm gonna make an attempt with a rock. What's the combat log? Did I kill him? Did I kill him? Tell me he bled. 19! Fucking 19, tell me he bled. Oh, he got me. Like, what? Oh, damn it, fucking asshole. Where did you come from? Fucking asshole. Sure enough, last node, dude's on top of me. Fucking revolver. I fucking domed him with a shotgun. No, he walks. I lose to the revolver. It's fucking so stupid. Get the shotguns out of the fucking game. You piece of shit developers have no fucking idea what a shotgun even is. You're so goddamn stupid. I shredded his face with a shotgun. You don't know what shotguns are. Get them the fuck out of games. You have no idea how they work. You've never fired one. You don't know what pellets are, what they do. You're fucking stupid. Get the shotguns out of the fucking game. I blew his goddamn head off and you fucking fucked with me. Whatever. There goes 4K stone and however much metal that fucking was. I'm gonna build a base right the fuck here. Maybe up there on the cliff. Oh, what was that? Someone's making something.
You are no longer AFK.
Gotta go into there, I guess. No, they want me to grind northwest back to the road and then south to the bunker in Valley of Kings. South to the bunker in Valley of Kings. Okay, well, let's go turn in Bingles and then Hearth. As, well, I don't need to Hearth, but it's faster and safer. And I will sell things.
Aggro.
Prime time is fucking so annoying.
Chunk of 4 MEATX2. You receive loot, 4 intestines.
It'll calm down.
Loot,
I can go
leather.
farming and build a base.
Aggro.
You receive loot, chunk of 4 meat. You receive loot, 4 ribs. You receive loot, 4 intestines. You receive loot, light leathers 2.
Man, I wonder if I turn him, it's going to bring anybody back. I'll visit back and do the content, I guess. But I mean, like, what content? No, New World is dead. I need to let it go. I uninstalled it.
So Norn doesn't trust my reconnaissance abilities? I wonder why. Never mind that, I need your assistance. Nay, the movement needs your assistance. As if crashing into the lock wasn't bad enough, Trogs from the nearby island attacked me and stole my tools and special Blastenheimer Blastenkapper explosives. With no gyrocopter and no explosives, the movement has no chance. Get my tools back and fight my Blastenkapper explosives adventurer for Noma Regan!
Okay, so now that we've done this aspect of it, we hearth, and I will take the free ride.
Help you find something? Go with honor, friend.
There's somebody in WoW. Yeah, that's the
feel
Baker
rested.
walking by.
Thomas Miller says, warm, wholesome bread.
Silver will be worth something. Not bad.
Topper McNabb says, could you spare some coin?
No, I'm gonna do 14. I'm gonna take
Auction created. Auction created. Auction created. Auction created. Auction created. Auction created.
You create heavy linen bandage. You create heavy linen bandage.
Auction created.
You create heavy linen bandage. Topper McNabb says, spare some change for a poor blind man? What do you mean I'm not blind? I'm not blind. I can see. It's a miracle. You create heavy linen bandage. 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 You create heavy linen bandage.
Auction created. Auction created.
You create heavy linen bandage. You create heavy linen bandage.
Auction created. Auction created.
You create heavy linen bandage. You create heavy linen bandage. You create heavy linen bandage.
Howdy, Jerry. What's
you create
up?
Heavy linen bandage.
Your auction of lesser healing potion sold.
Topper McNabb says, spare some change for a poor blind man? What do you mean I'm not blind? I'm not blind. I can see. It's a miracle. Topper McNabb says, help a poor bloke out.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had a visitor.
Of that community. She went.
So, bristle whisker catfish is
Thomas Miller says, freshly baked
4
bread for sale.
silver. I didn't know how much those actually were. Oh, look, I got a dagger. That might sell. Let's see what that's worth. 15 silver. Yeah, I think that's better than the disenchant I'm gonna get for it. So I took the money for it. Yep. And now we're gonna go buy a bag, and we're gonna stuff greens in the bag, and just keep stuffing greens in the bag. I should buy pick lock, but I mean I don't have to do that till 22 or something like that, because they don't have you do that till you go to Red Ridge, which is like a while. So here we go, greens and
Your auction of bull ribs sold.
okay, so well, I guess I don't have to do it yet, but I'm going to. Oh no, I guess I already did it, huh? I already did it. Oh yeah, I put another. Oh no, I guess I didn't. Oh, I see. So yeah, we're gonna buy another bag.
Harvin has reached level 60.
And we're going to put another bag, and we're going to turn it on. See, and there's more space for greens, and I'm just going to keep stuffing greens. I need this thread.
For the Alliance.
And I'm going to go buying like 7 silver worth of rough leather. Maybe I have sales. I doubt it, but maybe. Hey, sales. Oh, good. That's good. I got a little bit of more money to work with than I had before. We're gonna put greens away, but I gotta make them first, and I also gotta buy thread. So I'm gonna buy coarse thread now.
Just browsing my wares, or is there something specific I can help you find today?
Yeah, the
Citizen Arliurus, come here.
Browsing my wares, or is there something specific?
OLM says, Deja Vu. For a moment, I thought I was back home before the plague.
Not fine, but
Thomas Miller says,
coarse thread. Coarse thread. Another 20 of them, I guess.
You receive item. Coarse thread safe.
Light bless you.
You receive item. Coarse threads 12.
There's somebody. 750. I need to go get pipes, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm near a road or what. I don't think so. So any pipes that I get have to come from somewhere else. Could run to that road, I suppose. Like, I'm not that far. We could do the overland road to the pylon by mining outposts and do some stop signs for pipes, because it would be kind of be good to do so. I don't know. Maybe a crossbow will serve for now. I could take a crossbow with bow and arrows and see if I can't get somebody. If I could get sulfur, that fucker ganged me as I finished. But like, man, if I could get that sulfur home, I could. Well, but I need a furnace in here, and I don't have it. It's slow building, and I think I got my fix. So I'm just gonna bail out here. I got my rust fix. I've been wanting some lately, like heroin, and I got my rust fix. You know. Oops, my tablet is not turned on. There we go. There we go.
Organa starts to worry.
Okay, 31, 38. Let's see. There we go. And
Ash Alry says, WTB Assault Band.
And what are we doing here? I'm gonna play this video. And
Went on to take part in many political shows, from Destiny's Stream to Ethan Ralph's and even Alex Jones. Many people, particularly the journalists who had covered her, had already begun calling for her to be deplatformed for quite some time. But surprisingly, she stuck around on the platform well into 2019. However, it seems Soph decided to go right ahead and get herself banned. First, she uploaded a video called YouTube Parental Discretion Advised, which had an intro sequence featuring an image of Nassim Adam, a psychotic vegan woman who attempted to shoot up YouTube headquarters.
Yep.
In this same intro sequence, Soph jokingly made death threats against Susan Wojcicki, who was the CEO of YouTube at the time, and this even got the attention of the police, though they deemed the threat not credible. Then she posted Pride and Prejudice, which was essentially another Be Not Afraid, but this time targeting the LGBTQ+ community.
Oh
and YouTube
my
promptly
God,
banned
little
her for
Hitler
having 3
girl.
TOS violations within 90 days. Soph's response was to
Great. Oh, the conservatives are so great. Look at their little hellspawn.
You won an auction for ruined leather scraps.
Little Republicans. Little Eichmanns.
Bid accepted.
Look at the little Eichmann.
You won an auction for ruined leather scraps.
Look at the little Likemen, which is like literally the fucking word for this. It's like little Likemen. They're like little Likemans is a term used to describe people whose actions, while on an individual scale may seem relatively harmless even to themselves, taken collectively create destructive and immoral systems in which they are actually complicit, essentially. They're like little Likemans. This name comes from Adolf Eichmann, a Nazi bureaucrat who helped to orchestrate the Holocaust, but claimed to do so without feeling anything about his actions, merely following the orders. Yeah. And so they just get programmed by their little conservative overlords, and they follow their orders, and they brainwash everybody.
What do you mean I'm not blind? I'm not blind. I can see. It's a miracle.
There it is, and now we're going to produce a whole bunch of leather.
Bid accepted.
You receive item. Ruined leather scraps 12. You receive item. Ruined leather scraps 20. You receive item. Ruined leather scraps 20. You receive item. Ruined leather scraps 20. You receive item. Ruined leather scraps 20.
Alright, make me 47 light leather. That works for me for 10 silver. That's, I mean, it's okay. It's...
You tweeted an image of herself holding a firearm with the words, YouTube headquarters, here I come. After her ban, she stuck around on Subscribestar and Gavin McInnes' subscription website Censor.tv for about 2 years, though she's since become inactive on those platforms as well. The last bit of notable...
Oh no, she's crazy.
You create light letter.
She's crazy, stay away.
You create light letter.
Online activity she had was
she's on Rumble now. She'll be on Rumble now is under her fake identity and nobody knows about. Oh no.
Which she suddenly began uploading to in 2022, but once the videos began getting traction again, YouTube caught on to her ban evasion and terminated this account as well. She's still
yup, I knew it. I knew it.
Active on Twitter, but it's unknown what she's up to.
Like, oh, kick this little Hitler off the platform. This little Likeman.
Days. Futuristic Hub, real name Brian, is very much unlike other people on this list in that his history extends far beyond his most popular channel. Before he was a YouTuber, he was allegedly involved with scams like MrCashGift.com, which, based on the site's own about section, was a run-of-the-mill pyramid scheme where you'd get gifts from the people you recruit. There were even videos featuring him from the website to prove his association with it, and though he eventually admitted to his involvement...
Life in a tent? Oh no.
He claimed that he was unaware of its true nature and fell for the scam himself. Brian's first YouTube account, Life in a Tent, was made in 2010 and had the kind of horrible formatting and appearance you'd expect from a channel from his era. There are even annoying orange-style creatures on the side here, like monuments of a lost civilization. Soon after the channel's inception, the format of the content began mimicking Ray William Johnson's Equals 3, with simple commentary and reactions to videos that were viral at the time. The thing is, unlike Equals 3, which made it clear in the thumbnails that they were transformative, Brian branded his content so that it'd be impossible to distinguish between it and the stuff he was reacting to in a kind of primitive clickbait. Since the terms of service were a lot less effective at preventing this kind of thing at the time, this strategy worked, and he got enough views on his channel to start monetizing it. During this time, he married Megan Lee Hart, and the channel also became infamous for going after other creators, most notably Alejandra Gaitan, who became known as the original Reply Girl, one of the main people behind the 2012 YouTube trend of making reply videos with cleavage in the thumbnails to siphon away all of the potential viewers of the original content to, you know, cleavage. YouTubers tend to get in drama with and insult each other, but Brian admittedly went as far as mass flagging her. However, this didn't get him in nearly as much trouble as when he made a video about the 2011...
She was like, I'm going to give you what you really want. You don't want to learn about Kate Upton's child or whatever. You need to learn come look at titties. And she's right. I mean, she's not wrong. She's like, you need to come look at titties. Titties are really the only really thing that matters. And is she wrong? No. She's kind of not wrong, you know? It kind of sucks. She's like, come look at titties. And it's like, I can't really argue with her. You know, I'm not going to give into it, but I can't argue with it. You know, I wouldn't say, come look at titties. Yeah, okay. I mean, all right. It seems to be a good proposition. Yeah, all right. Let's look at titties. 5 Agi, 3 Spirit is better than what I have, but it would take Cured Light Hide and a Fine Thread. I mean, I sold 5 Light Hides. Cured Light Hides, I think. These are expensive, and I don't want to make them. So I will make boots. Lots and lots and lots of boots. Many, many boots. Big boots.
Very insensitive to say the least.
They seem to be getting hit by a lot of earthquakes nowadays. I cannot believe it. Anyway, thumbs up this video for epic earthquake.
This sparked criticism from many other YouTubers, including one Blackbuster critic, who invited him to an interview and confronted him not only about the earthquake video, but also about the scam stuff, which is where we get his admission from. Soon after, the heat from other YouTubers became heat from YouTube itself, and Life in a Tent was removed for violating community guidelines regarding spam content. Shortly after, Brian tried to come back with a channel called K Martin, but he got caught botting views and it got terminated. This is documented in a Daily Dot article from 2020.
He got caught botting views in 2020. That's got to be a lot. I mean, how many views were you like doing? Botting views. Jesus fucking Christ. I couldn't even imagine. Fucking losers.
Apparently, he wasn't botting views.
I mean, what's the point of that? Like, you're never going to have a metric that you understand. Like, I mean, you're never going to understand what you're doing or what, you know. I will say this, like, I have been doing fine. Doing great, you know.
Other people.
Like this thing about like botting views. I can't even imagine being that much of a loser.
Figured out that he could get other people's channels affected by botting their views blatantly and having YouTube punish them for it. So he tried to do it to a few channels, including the Yogscast. Ultimately, it didn't work since the payment for the botted views was traced back to the email he was using, and one of the patterns in his bot attacks was that people who spoke out against Reply Girls would get hit with it. This is because Megan, his aforementioned wife, was one of them, which gave clear motivation to the attacks, and also explained the targeting of the original Reply Girl, who could have been seen as competition. Either way, these particular plots of his were foiled, and both he and Megan were found to have been suspended in previous accounts of theirs, and had their channels terminated for it. About a year later, Brian made two other channels, Futuristic Hub, which uploaded Minecraft-related animations, and Video Games, which began with gameplay videos and slowly evolved to focus on things like Black Ops 2 montages. While Futuristic Hub was all his, the Video Games channel's ownership was shared with a man called Marco Princip, but to say they were behind the channel is facetious since it was actually operated by two other people, Brandon Keating and Ty Moss, and based on information revealed much later, there was an agreement between them that gave Brandon and Ty partial control over the channel, as well as the right to a share of its revenue. By late 2014, both channels were doing very well, far better than Life in a Tent had ever done, with Futuristic Hub getting hundreds of thousands and occasionally over 1 million views on a video, while the Video Games channel had over 2 million subscribers. However, this grace period wasn't going to last very long. In 2015, his reputation as a masked flagger began making the rounds once again. In April, the information made its way to Keemstar, who proceeded to, for the course of the next 2 months, well into the next year, rally against Brian and band together with other people he'd allegedly been targeting, including Leafy, Kwebbelkop, Syndicate, and others, claiming that the flagging had evolved to outright stalking. In response, Brian declared he was going to sue him for defamation, and at one point even called the police on Keem, alleging he'd been swatted by him with no evidence. Oddly, while Brian was gaining infamy for his lawsuit debacle, none of it reflected on his Futuristic Hub YouTube channel, which was fast approaching 1 million subscribers. However, the popularity that this channel was getting in and of itself was becoming an issue, since while the content was marketed to kids who played Minecraft, there were other inappropriate themes in them that a kid obviously shouldn't see. All of these elements came together at once in mid-2016 to cause Brian's ultimate downfall. First off, the two guys actually responsible for running the Video Games channel sued Brian and Marco for purposely delaying and refusing to pay them, and won the lawsuit for a big chunky $20 million, with the additional bonus that they got the rights to the channel, which still exists to this day, though it's inactive. If that wasn't bad enough, Repzion, who knew Brian back when he was Life in a Tent, commented on the lawsuit's result by revealing that years prior, Brian messaged him asking for him to take one of his videos down because he didn't like what he said in it. When Repzion refused to do so, Brian proceeded to dox him and his entire family. Repzion's mother began to be harassed with sexual phone calls, and most egregiously, Brian made a webpage with a picture of Repzion's 1-year-old nephew attached to Repzion's address, followed by a series of very out-of-line threats to the infant. Repzion successfully took the page down by calling the company that hosted the site, but still, it showed what kind of person Brian truly was. Around the same time this information came out, Mutahar from Some Ordinary Gamers released a video called Minecraft Sex on YouTube, covering the tone-deaf adult-themed videos in the Futuristic Hub channel. While he never actually says the channel's name, people figured it out anyway, and shortly after, YouTube took down the animation Muta was commenting on. Multiple people were very happy to see Brian getting his deserved comeuppance, many of whom were owed money by Brian themselves. While Brian did make the time to animate Keemstar getting probed by aliens, which I can't show here for obvious reasons. His concern eventually shifted away from what other YouTubers were saying and toward the prospect of losing what little he had left after the settlement. In fear of having Futuristic Hub taken away, Brian began claiming that Futuristic Hub was actually owned by a girl named Holly, his new partner, since behind the scenes he had divorced Megan in 2019. This directly contradicted a statement he had made during the video games trial in which he said the channel belonged to him. He proceeded to diligently scrub the internet for anyone claiming he owned Futuristic Hub, leaving comments and sending DMs claiming to be Holly, going as far as to take down videos that insisted on saying he owned the channel. This pattern repeated for multiple creators across the platform, including yours truly. I personally received a bunch of emails from this guy threatening me with a lawsuit, and he even tried to flag my video down. While it's still up, he did get it age restricted. In late 2020, the proceedings began for a second lawsuit coming from the same guys that won the previous one, attempting to take Brian's other accounts as he'd predicted they would do. Specifically, the proceedings began on September 15th, and this matters because in order to stifle the court proceedings, he left the US altogether on September 20th, which was easy to do since Holly was a British citizen. Then, Brian claimed he'd left the country a day prior to the lawsuit first being filed, which would create complications if it weren't for the fact that they quickly found out that the file he submitted as evidence of his departure on the 14th was falsified with a PDF altering tool. And it doesn't seem he addressed this at all since Brian just went on to claim he'd misremembered. This strategy of moving all of his assets to Holly didn't hold up though, as the judge ruled in favor of the claimants and gave them Brian's other channels. Not only Futuristic Hub, but also Wildcraft and Creamworks Animations as well, which were never nearly as successful. But even then, they didn't stop. There's a court document indicating Brian and Holly started abusing copyright notices against these channels to take them down. They then declared they were going to sue Google over copyright infringement in the United Kingdom and threatened the plaintiffs with physical harm, which led to YouTube deciding to take down all of Brian's accounts. Since then, Brian has filed an appeal, and a number of channels popped up on YouTube that are suspiciously similar to Futuristic Hub in format, with a very similar sounding voice actor for the characters. Eventually, Brian confirmed his association to these channels via posts to Kiwi Farms and emails he sent from one of the channels. He's also occasionally made phone calls to the claimants to voice his dissatisfaction with their conduct.
When I get my hands around your neck, I'm gonna squeeze them in life out of you. You understand me?
Brian, why are you talking to me like this? Eventually, he even attempted to swat one of the claimants, the police report on which reveals he might be back on US soil. Last but not least, I'd like to mention a little wrinkle to the story I haven't seen talked about, but here's a clip of Holly stating her date of birth.
What's your date of birth?
My date of birth is the 27th of October 1999.
And here's Megan saying when she first heard of Holly.
When did you first hear the name Holly?
I actually heard it back in 2010 when I met Brian through his Life in a Tent channel. She had an account that she commented on his videos on, and he would sort of make suggestive comments back to her.
Something is wrong with this picture. I'm not some kind of savant mathematician, but unless Megan is off by 70 years or Holly was mistaken about her own birthday, doesn't this mean Brian was exchanging messages with a then 11-year-old Holly or something? Make of this what you will, but it certainly sounds very strange. Sneeko, real name Nico, started posting to YouTube in 2013, doing basic commentaries over Call of Duty Black Ops 2 footage, and even early on, there was a distinct tendency towards speaking about politics in his videos.
I am not a feminist, and for some reason that means I'm against gender equality. Whenever I tell people that I don't consider myself a feminist, I get the same response. Feminism is for equality of both genders. One, if that was true, it would be called humanism. It's already hypocritical in the title. That's like saying white supremacy is for the advancement of all
dumb.
races.
Stop talking.
His content didn't really go anywhere at the time, and his first real chance at exposure came in 2014 by means of Keemstar offering him the opportunity to read a letter from FouseyTube for a video. However, when the recording got back to Keemstar, he found the quality subpar and decided against using it, which upset Sneeko, who went on to release a video attacking Keemstar over it, though it was privated shortly after. Sneeko's contention was that Keemstar never really gave his reading a chance, and based on the conversation they eventually had during a live-streamed podcast, it's not a lie.
You went and started messaging me at 3 a.m. and you said, I picked you out of hundreds that asked me to do the reading. Part of me knew you were going to fail, going in, to be honest. I just wanted a reason to call you a loser, and now I have it.
How is he supposed to pass that test?
But I mean, is there a possibility that he would have done a good job? Is there a possibility?
Who determines it? That's
me, mother.
I'm the goddamn person that is.
You wouldn't know. You didn't watch it.
However unfair a situation he found himself in with Keemstar, he was given a much fairer shot by someone else you might have heard of, Mr. Beast. At the time, both Sneako and Mr. Beast were doing the COD gameplay commentary format and interacted positively with each other's comment sections. Eventually, when Mr. Beast started popping off, he offered Sneako a job. Jumping on the opportunity, Sneako appeared in one of Mr. Beast's videos released in 2018, where they built a car out of big fake Legos. The video did very well, but Sneako wasn't very happy, feeling that Mr. Beast's content was too commercial and sanitized for him. Eventually, this dissatisfaction boiled over into an expose of Mr. Beast, significantly less justified than the one he did against Keemstar. Unsurprisingly, he was fired for doing this, and eventually came to regret making such a foolish decision. And a few years after that, he even showed some gratitude to Mr. Beast for teaching him more about how to succeed on YouTube. Sneako continued to pave his own way on YouTube for a while, and while his content wasn't yet profitable enough to sustain him, he worked briefly as a model for Nike. He later came to regret this as well, but fortunately for him, he no longer had to do this kind of work, since by the end of 2018, Sneako released what became his most successful video to date. The video was pretty simple. He interviewed people on the street, asking questions such as, is it okay for a white person to say the N-word? Or, would you say the N-word for $1?
Can white people say the N-word?
Hell yeah. Hell no.
If they want
white
to,
people
give
can't
the
say the
fuck.
N-word.
No, they can't.
No.
No.
Why not?
Because they can't. Bye. No.
This got over 10 million views, and it set the tone for what kind of content Sneako was going to make
I
going
agree.
forward. With the newfound popularity, Sneako began posting all kinds of videos, including vlogs and political content. And this is what most people remember him for. These vlogs had good direction and photography, especially for YouTube standards, and featured music quite prominently, which made the content very unique and recognizable. He also tried his hand at stand-up comedy, but it wasn't nearly as successful as his YouTube stuff. In August, he revealed he dropped out of college to focus exclusively on making more content, which was soon followed by his new series called the 1 Minute Podcast. This series took the format of Steven Crowder's Change My Mind videos and made it so that each interview only lasted 1 minute, with multiple topics being covered instead of just one.
Where do we go when we die?
Where we go?
Up God's ass.
Probably heaven.
I think we just disintegrate.
I used to smoke crack.
This format, especially with the frequent cuts keeping videos very dynamic, was very promising and was already becoming very successful, and his channel was thriving. However, it all came to a screeching halt when the pandemic began, making it impossible for the videos to be made. The momentum he had garnered was well on its way to die off completely, but even then, Sneako could have easily maintained some of it if he tried different formats. He had more than proven himself capable of coming up with good ideas for videos. However, he decided against any good idea he had when he posted a video where he praised the movie Cuties, a French movie that sexualized actual children.
And I even tweeted, like, Cuties is clickbait. This was a pretty good movie. And everybody replying like, I'm unfollowing you. This is the limit, Sneako. This is the limit. I can guarantee you, none of you saw the fucking movie, dummies. How do you criticize a movie that you didn't see?
His claim was that the movie's marketing was just clickbait and that the movie itself wasn't, I feel like, at all. Now, I'm not a movie critic, nor have I watched the movie, but I don't think anyone should, since merely checking the parent guide on IMDb for it tells you it features frequent zoomed-in shots of preteen girls as they dance suggestively. Even if the movie was documenting how that stuff exists, explicitly showing it is still wrong in my mind. Additionally, it's easy to glean from any synopsis of the movie that the plot consists of a girl with a strict Muslim mom who finds liberation in sexual dancing. It's pretty indefensible, and his audience definitely opposed it. Around the same time, he broke up with his long-distance girlfriend after he had cheated on her, prompting D'Angelo Wallace, a fellow YouTuber, to say, Sneako's made for the streets. Now, given what Sneako did, you'd probably expect him to exercise a little bit of humility. I mean, he did basically talk about what he did publicly to everyone, right? But instead, in response, Sneako made a half-hour roast reacting to a documentary made by D'Angelo. While he didn't suffer a loss of reputation or audience, it was clear from this video that Sneako was embarrassed about him having cheated and reacted way out of proportion to D'Angelo's comments. Soon after, Sneako, like many other content creators during this particular era, transitioned into streaming and repurposed his second channel, Sneako, around it. This coincided with the extreme surge in popularity of Andrew Tate's content, which Sneako latched onto hard. Basically, Tate was doing everything Sneako wanted to do, which was to get an insane amount of views by riling people up. Old viewers of his channel probably remember his original personality. It was very different from the person he eventually became. Even if some some elements stayed the same, he became much more aggressive and talked much less about how self-conscious he was in him striving to be a successful alpha male YouTuber. With the rise of Andrew Tate on social media, Sneako once again transformed into a Tate Light streamer, parodying many of his talking points. However, even if he truly began to believe the things he was saying, they were a far cry from the guy he was just a few months prior, who, for example, thought Dave Chappelle's jokes about trans people were in poor taste, and, most importantly, took his girl to a party and watched someone go gorilla mode on her.
We went to a couple different sex parties.
Oh, word.
What in the
Yeah.
And so I wanted to tell you on this podcast.
You said something to the nature of whatever happens, happens.
What? Yeah, so we go in there with the mentality that whatever happens inside that
Nope.
party just stays at the party. Like,
yeah.
And so I saw her. I've seen her other men, and it's just like that
You
was.
seen it?
Yeah, I saw like
Oh, no,
like
I
literally
can't-
right.
I can't be no police.
hold on.
Hold on.
Imagine seeing the girl you love like
Get
Yeah, I do. I love her.
Evidently, this wasn't some extraordinary act of betrayal, but something Sneako agreed to as they were in an
No.
open relationship.
This is how really, like, based fucking breeders are, you know?
Later on, he tried to downplay this traumatic experience and qualify that he was also performing the gorilla act with the girlfriend of the guy who cucked him, but no matter how much he openly joked about it, it simply didn't jive well with the new identity he had taken up, making him a laughingstock for much of his own audience. Sometime later, a YouTuber named Brandon Buckingham messaged him and invited him to do a boxing match, at a time when influencer boxing was really taking off. This was a business opportunity that, without Brandon, Sneako probably wouldn't get, since the person who owned Happy Punch, the company hosting a lot of the events, happened to be Keemstar, who still didn't want to work with him, possibly because he still held a little grudge over the whole voice acting thing from 10 years prior. In return for Brandon having gone out of his way to convince Keemstar to let Sneako fight in one of the events, Sneako asked Brandon why he's on his. This made Brandon mad, and he proceeded to joke about him and his boys running a train on Sneako's ex-girlfriend, essentially making fun of the open relationship. Sneako, in what's probably the greatest act of cowardice so far, tried to dress this up as if Brandon had threatened to rape his girlfriend. This eventually led to Brandon making a long expose video about Sneako. A similar situation took place when Sneako attacked KSI for celebrating Tate's ban, only for KSI to challenge him to a boxing match as well, causing Sneako to back off.
The reinforcements promised to us never showed, however. Apparently, the Alliance front is a sea of crimson from the blood of our fallen brethren. The news of the losses leaves a bitter taste in one's mouth. But we must not let their deaths go for naught. We must rally in these grim times and bring glory back to the Alliance. Speak with Mountaineer Wallbang for reassignment. You're needed now more than ever. The Mountaineers tell me you are quite brave and capable, adventurer. We need a person like you around here. The Trog problem isn't getting any better. The reserves have been called to the front and we're all alone out here. But now that we have a seasoned adventurer here, let's see what you can do. Go out and kill 10 Stone Splinter Shaman and 10 Stone Splinter Bone Snappers. Let's see if you live up to your reputation, Trog Slayer.
YouTube, amassing over 1 million subscribers on his stream channel, and, at least according to him, earning hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. However, this didn't last very long either, as he made comments about the vaccine and the legitimacy of the 2020 election that got him striked. The final straw was when he said that Chad, a female YouTuber who had criticized him in the past, needed to be known in the carnal sense by a man, proceeding...
I'm going to get a glass of milk. I'll be right back. And I'm going to have an olive. An olive will be good. Okay, I'll be right back. Hit that was too big. But it felt good. Oh, marijuana, I love you. Where would I be without you?
Himself performing the act. The community at large reacted to this by calling for everyone to flag his channel, resulting in his ban by the end of 2022. He moved to Rumble, where he continued his activities, collabing with people like Aiden Ross, and even getting into a conflict
That's where
with
they
Royce
all
Critical,
go.
which was ended swiftly by the latter.
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. These are the only clips I'm watching, you were?
Now, the reason he keeps saying watch my clips while threatening me here is because during the stream, I couldn't watch him live because he just kept shouting slurs. So I said watch my clips to see what I was saying about you. I had to communicate via Twitch clips. And I'm sorry to be that guy, this is like the grammar police of guns, but he's a fucking imbecile. You absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips.
It's a
These
mag.
are mags. They're mags, not clips. You absolute dummy. The same way that this is also a mag. They're all mags. Stop saying clips, you look fucking stupid here.
As wild as they are, the latest
guess pulling
developments
out
in
your
Sneako's
fucking
life are
gas,
just
you're
more
stupid.
iterations of the same patterns we've already seen. He temporarily latched onto Kanye when the latter gave him the opportunity to be a part of his election campaign's team, marking a noticeable uptick in controversial political talk, but Ye dumped him not long after. Then came Sneako's Muslim arc, which many say, with good reason, was influenced by him glazing off of the Tate brothers, who have also promoted Islam in the past. However, this decision led people to recall his cuties controversy, since due to Muhammad's first wife being 9 years old, Sneako had a very hard time talking about topics like the age of consent.
What do you think the age of consent should be, Sneako?
Yeah, this is not an important conversation.
No, it's a super. You don't think fucking kids are not as an important conversation? What do you think the age of consent should be? If you want to be consistent, you don't think anything updates, just tell us what you think it should be.
I think it should be past age, at a developed age, Dustin.
What is a developed age? If you had to set a law for it, what would you set it? What would you set it about?
I'd say it's a developed age.
No, answer the question, you fucking pussy. Holy shit, you're such a cowardly fuck.
While his devotion to Islam seems to have resisted the test of time, he suggested he was considering other options multiple times, complaining that the restrictions it places on him are too rigorous, even hinting at a possible conversion to Christianity, which, again, was probably influenced by Tate. We can expect at least 5 new arcs by the end of the decade, with probably a few religions and role models mixed in there. Tyler, known by most as Mumkey Jones, is said to have started on YouTube back in 2007, but the first documented instance of his online activity comes from when he was 15, a now abandoned channel called That Random Hater Guy with just 3 videos, all of which are attacks on another small channel. For a while, he didn't take YouTube too seriously, as he was going to college, eventually majoring in English. However, in 2011, he partnered up with a friend of his named Biggs, and together they started a Let's Play channel called The Mumkey and Biggs Show, the name Mumkey being a combination of human and, of course, monkey. They did this for a few years without much success, but eventually in mid-2015, Tyler came up with the idea of doing satirical anime reviews. The first 2 episodes were decently successful, but the third one, a review of an anime called B Gata H Kai, was the first video that really got people's attention, going viral on Reddit and getting 500,000 views. One of the main reasons it got this big was that Mumkey derails the video entirely to discuss the topic of age of consent, which set the tone for the kind of edgy humor that defined his videos. Seeing the success, he made an account just for the reviews, which was well timed since not long after, Mumkey and Biggs had a falling out, causing the latter to delete the channel out of spite. He began dedicating all of his time to the reviews, which is when he first introduced the monkey mask, which became a staple of his channel. channel. But the first sign of trouble came when Mumkey reviewed the anime Boku no Pico, which is infamous for fetishizing the feminization of extremely underage boys and featuring explicit imagery of them. Mumkey got 2 strikes for sexual imagery, prompting him to make yet another channel just called Mumkey Jones. All reviews were now moved into the new account with heavy censorship to prevent any further issues. Tyler soon began expanding the scope of the content to more general topics, reviewing the Bible, Cory in the House, and a bunch of other non-anime works. In August 2016, he became a part of the Procrastinators podcast alongside 4 other YouTubers, including his then best online friend, Digibro. The podcast was much milder in tone than his usual content, being centered around nerdy topics in general, with a particular focus on comics. However, as Digi eventually revealed, Mumkey maintained a friendship with several trolls, and not the kind of troll that does what they do with an objective, but the kind that does it for its own sake because they find flooding comment sections with insults kind of fun. Despite all members of the podcast telling him to stop associating with these trolls, he ignored them, which soured Mumkey's relationship with the rest of the group, leading to him being kicked out. From 2016 to 2017, Mumkey was served 2 community guideline strikes, one of them being for a video of his titled Top 10 Most Lethal Methods. The third and final strike was dealt on his video titled Mumkey's Declassified Sharia Law Survival Guide, getting the account banned. In a somewhat strange bout of luck, someone called Trusted Flagger went out of their way to contact him on Twitter who had some kind of association with YouTube and could get the ban reversed. Lo and behold, this person wasn't lying, as the channel was reinstated. I gotta say though, Mumkey definitely didn't play it safe. One of the most prominent elements on his channel around this period was the recurrent theme of none other than the Supreme Gentleman, Elliot Rodger. Technically, the first time it was ever included in one of his videos was in his Cory in the House episode, but in May 2016, he posted his first Elliot-centered video, Happy Day of Retribution, in reference to the Isla Vista shooting. 3 months later, he posted a 10-hour-long full reading of Elliot's manifesto, and in August, he released an anime review dedicated to Elliot. Over the course of not only this upload, but multiple others that came after, Mumkey went over anything and everything Elliot related, documenting it in his videos. While it did begin as a facile attempt at dark humor, it slowly grew into a kind of true crime evaluation of what led up to the crime Elliot committed and how it could have possibly been prevented. Of course, there's a lot of making fun of Elliot for being a psychotic incel who killed people out of jealousy because others could get a girlfriend and he couldn't. While his video about Diary of a Wimpy Kid was his channel's most popular upload, the Elliot content became synonymous with Tyler's brand, even being featured on the channel's cover art. Eventually, he stopped using the mask, and right around the same time, another arc of his channel began as he came across an Indiegogo started by Derek Savage, the creator of the infamous Cool Cat Saves the Kids movie. The fundraiser was for a new movie called Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, and seeing the potential for dark humor in it, Mumkey reached out to Derek, who promised that he could get the role of the shooter if he gave the Indiegogo page a shoutout. But despite his shoutout, the Indiegogo never met its goal, and Derek reneged on his promise, prompting Mumkey to encourage his fans to get refunds. In fact, as revenge for Derek's actions, he promised to make his own version of the movie, which he released not long after. This wasn't the only controversy he got involved in that year. The last of his videos on the Wimpy Kid book was about how Jeff Kinney, the author, was a sociopath. He then created a
I don't think I could ever watch a television show called Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I just don't have that kind of fear. You know? I never did. Now, was I popular when I was younger? Like, when I was like 5 to maybe 10? Not really, no. I was just another kid, you know? But yeah, by the age of, I'd say 13, I'd come into my own, and I just couldn't ever watch a show titled this. I just don't, it just goes against my ethos as a human being, kind of. Wimpy is something I don't fucking, like, I've never... Like, I had to face down, like, a bully in the 2nd grade. I had to face down my father in, like, the 5th grade. I mean, I don't know. My father was huge.
Page to rewrite the Elliot Rodgers manifesto in the style of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and it got to about $1,000 before being taken down, possibly for copyright violation of the Wimpy Kid art style and brand name. However, the book did end up getting released in limited quantity, and here's some Turkey Tom trivia. I actually own a copy to this day. Shortly after, all of the Wimpy Kid videos were removed as well for unspecified reasons. Still, his channel was doing well otherwise for the time being, but what he didn't expect was for one of his close friends to be accused of a very serious crime. In November 2018, Mumkey received a Discord call from a female friend of his named Jackie, telling him that her boyfriend, known online as Asperger, a close friend of Mumkey's, was physically abusing her. Against Jackie's wishes, Mumkey decided to call the police, and Asperger was taken into custody. Jackie retaliated against Mumkey by doxing him and spreading false rumors about him, which he addressed in a video, providing evidence against her claims. Soon after, both of his channels received 2 guideline strikes each, and in response, Mumkey privated every single video to prevent more strikes, releasing just 1 more on the main channel.
2 channel strikes on both Mumkey Jones and Mumkey Jones 2. All 4 of them, in my view, are bullshit. And the fact that they all happened at the same time, I think somebody or some group of
Why
people
is this
out
thing
there
killing
false
me? It doesn't make
flagging
any sense.
all of my videos.
Oh, because I don't have my sword on.
Down for reasons that were never adequately clarified. This became a massive story on YouTube
There we
with
go.
dozens
Right,
of
the
creators
fishing
commenting
pole.
on it, myself included. Regardless of who or what was responsible, the channels were never restored.
God damn
However,
it.
Mumkey attempted to make a return, first by having his girlfriend make another YouTube account called Jungle Jimmy, which failed. Speaking of his girlfriend, through all of the previous issues with staying on YouTube, the audience still liked Mumkey, though this was put in peril when, throughout 2019, information came out that he was cheating on his then-girlfriend Sheepover with another girl named Lou, who, for context, was allegedly a pedophile who drew furry cub not safe for work art and had previously dated a 15-year-old. Apparently, he even got engaged to Lou, but shortly after, his relationship with her fell apart completely, which she dealt with by allegedly sending a sex tape of theirs to a bunch of people. Fortunately, it still wasn't over for Mumkey, as he rekindled his friendships with the guy he started doing YouTube with, Biggs, and they started making videos again, this time mostly revolving around movies. Mumkey also started uploading his regular solo content to an older account of his which didn't get banned for whatever reason, renaming it to Simmy and Jimmy, though the upload schedule is a lot less frequent due to Tyler having to work a day job, and despite him no longer being able to do the Elliot videos since they're too risky insofar as terms of service strikes, he's still active to this day, not just on YouTube but on other social media as well. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Privately for not reacting to his...
Nope. It's weird. Tom Dark took my Asmongold spot.
Aggro.
Uh-oh. What's this? Uh-oh.
Aggro.
Oops.
Warp drive active.
Oops. But wait, what's my fire at? 2. So yeah, I don't really have room per se. I have to send off ingots and get fire. Where am I currently? I'm in a place where things can aggro me.
Aggro.
I want to go over there where those boars are. Never mind, I liked it more when this was my macro for spam M5. There we go, it was better. It was better for my purposes. But I like messing with the mouse program. It's making my life much easier.
Aggro.
Ooh, these things drop medium leather, which will get me up in the money fucking quick. So yeah.
Aggro.
Yep, there's barely any aggro. There's like a ram. Oh. Starting to really hate that sound, but it's alright. Yeah, I'm aware. Kill this ram.
Aggro.
Yep. And I'm going to sit here on the ram spawn. Stealth. Yep. And, yeah, we'll mess around with other games and stuff. Check out the Eve. Okay, good. And I want you to get in this Ibis. And I want you to go over there again. I will live in Pokeven. I'm going to go out to Pokeven. I'm going to live there. I need to set PI up out here, but it seems like more work than I want to do because you have to go, like, loot it or whatever. I don't know. PI is good money, but it's more work than I want to do. I know it is. It's good passive money. I'm dumb not to do it. And I even trained into doing it, but I don't really want to go do it. I know I don't. Yeah, we are. He sent, or she sent all the fire, so I'll have to send over ingots. Got some bank alt business I must do now. We're going to send silver ingots and copper ingots. Good. And then we're going to log over. Duck.
Warp drive active.
Oh, there's socked ships now? Oh, yeah, the Metamorphosis, the Sunesis. No, I knew there was, but... oh, Concord Assembly is what I meant. Nice. Pacifier, Enforcer, Monitor, and Black Ops Marshal. Huh? Serpentis, Vigilant, Daredevil, Vindicator, Dreadnought, Angel Gautaro, Dramiel, Mechubal, Cinnaball. Ooh, the Dramiel might be really good. But anyways, I came looking for ore. So there's the Venture, and then there's the Prospect, which is 20, and the Endurance. Maybe I should start bringing out an Endurance. Dumping to a barrel? Nope. This should always be a Venture. Okay, so I am here to pick up a Miasmos and take it out. Does it have anything in it? No. So now we go back next door. I'm going to pay attention for this one.
drive active.
Yes, spores.
Aggro. Aggro.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Aggro. Aggro.
I think I'm only 4 levels from like 200, and that's the last perk slot, and then I can play other characters past that, which is kind of cool, actually. Although, I don't know, like, playing other characters is kind of dumb, but it's like, opens up a lot of the content in the game again, which is kind of cool when it's open.
Aggro.
But it doesn't really matter. I suppose I have a lot of other side stuff to do that I could do. You hung. You haven't done that in a while. That's okay. I forgot to alt-tab. It's my fault. My TV. 76 doesn't like my TV. My character is 188. I've got 12 levels, which I'm not sure I can get so quickly, but it's worth a try.
Aggro.
Oh, isn't it moles? I think it is moles. I'm gonna go do the mine. I actually used to really love to do that.
Aggro. Aggro. Aggro.
Oh, it weighs nothing. Okay. Yeah, the ammo is kind of a thing. I'm gonna have to like address that. It's kind of annoying. $128 out of 270, not bad though. But ammo is a thing. I need fuel. That I'm sure I have actually. It's just not in the box.
Aggro.
That is a death. That's death. That's definitely death. I gotta stay away from it. They probably have a huge aggro radius too. I need to stay away from that. Just stay away from it.
Aggro.
I don't have fuel at all. How am I gonna get fuel? Well, I have 2,100 caps. I guess I can go look for fuel in somebody's thing, I guess. I'm just going to join their team by row. Ammo. That's not really... Oh, everybody's doing pylon ambush site for some reason? Why? Oh, it's probably over. Feed the people's good, because you can just